With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Sometimes in racing, everything falls perfectly into place, as happened with Kyle Strykars last week, who returned to victory lane for the first time in 3 years in the PRL after a risky call to stay out at Talladega. Sometimes in racing, an easy day suddenly becomes far less easy in a single moment, as Abner Acosta learned at Indianapolis last week, dominating the first half of the race, losing the lead in the pits, and then having to fight for his life to win the race at the yard of bricks at the end. Welcome to round 7 of 2023 for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and later on round 7 of the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series, live from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway circa 2008. Hi everybody, my name is Joey Tebbin. With me in the booth is Terry Radford. Behind the scenes is our producer Hugo Luis. We used up all of our Las Vegas references last time we came here, but there's still plenty to talk about later in Atlanta, Georgia. Justin Bieber didn't get me any Georgia peaches, but I got my Jimmy Carter peanuts here. Anything can happen.
Well, I'm a little bit country. You're a little bit rock and roll. Never gets old with the Donnie and Marie reference. But Super Bowl champs, future Super Bowl champs. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm a LaShawn McCoy fan. Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl over the Chiefs 31-28. And congratulations to Landon Huffman and High Rock Vodka for signing an awesome deal to hopefully have Landon Huffman become back-to-back Hickory champion and match his dad's 2 titles at the track. So it'll be an interesting season in the old short track world of the little NASCAR side of things.
You know, in commentary, something that's been distinctly missing is commentators who call races with peanut butter in their mouths. So that's why I'm taking the rest of
too.
No.
I think we could do this together. I mean, I'll call a half a lap with peanut butter in my mouth. Hugo just watched me eat a whole sandwich in like 10 seconds. Like a 10-second countdown. I got a potty meat sandwich deep in my mouth.
I don't think I trust this Target peanut butter. I bought it like 5 months ago. It might not be it anymore, but let's take a look.
Peanut butter doesn't spoil.
That is true. Let's take a look at the rest of the schedule, which is starting to spoil a little bit. We're starting to get to the end of it. Only 3 more weeks to go after tonight. Of course, we got our first Super Speedway out of the week at Las Vegas last week. This week we go to Vegas, then we take on more of a challenge in Rockingham next week, back to the Super Speedway at Daytona, and then the season finale back in California at Auto Club for as long as this 2.0 mile track exists before they turn it into a short track. But 4 very different tracks to end the season.
Oh, I'm excited. Rockingham next week is going to be a very interesting task for the Truck Series. We watched them at Hickory. It had its challenges. We watched them at Darlington. It had its challenges. But if I do believe that race had, one caution, or did it go caution-free? So, I mean, the little limited cautions, Rockingham's going to be fun because you have the banking. You have to dip down to the corners. You necessarily can run 2 or 3 lines, but you don't want to. It's tough. And then Daytona's Daytona. And Auto Club is just, why are you destroying Auto Club?
That is the question. Will it still be destroyed? They say they're going to take it down in 2024 and 2025. It's still always Schrodinger's racetrack. Will it be a short track? Will it be the 2-mile oval staying there? Who knows? But what we do know is that Reese Bogue is still leading the championship, even after the terrible day he had last week at Talladega. Not even a terrible day. It was just a risk that didn't really pay off hanging at the back of the pack. He still managed to outscore basically every single one of his championship rivals, except for Mr. Alan Dice and for Steve Loving as well. Dallas Sullivan is the closest to Bogue in second place, still 16 points he needs to make up. Aren Gamushtal not actually in the field tonight. I did not see him on the practice list, so that's unfortunate for him. Chris Justice is here, Patrick Cowgill, Zach Panzarella, Dalton Geyer, and Dylan Schmidt round out the top 10. Then in the team standings, it's going to get pretty close continuously. Loaded Dice Racing still dominant at the top of the order, with Alan Dice and Dallas Sullivan both scoring big points for that team. But Love Racing, they're making progress. Whataback Speedworks, they got a win with Kyle Strykars last week. It might be their chance to move their way up the order. Regan Bogue Motorsports has fallen all the way to 4th with the bad luck Colton Easterday's been having, and Bull Creek Racing are sort of within touching distance in 5th as well, but they need some big results there. DDI Motorsports occupies 6th and 8th. Consult Info is 7th. Luff Apex for Aren Gamushtal is 9th, and the best team name in the series, the Gold Octopus Motorsports, rounds out the top 10. Qualifying just about done here at Las Vegas, but before we can get into the grid, we have to thank the VCO, the virtual competition organization, helps us out here at RaceSpotTV and helps make every single Precision Racing League broadcast possible this season and every season. This coverage is also brought to you by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. Then from Advanced Sim Racing, we go over to Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceboxSimRacing.com and also get a 5% discount, also using the Precision5 coupon code. And from Racebox, we move to RaceLab. RaceLab apps helps you improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. This coverage is also brought to you by The Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products provide an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with The Butt Kicker. And new for this season, it's Mecha Sim Hardware. Mecha Sim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for a high-end pedal set, handbrake, or sequential shifter, visit Mecha Sim Hardware's eShop right now to get you up to speed and check them out. And last but not least, it's Ninja Trader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Of course you are. Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, Ninja Trader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. Ninja Trader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. Well, as you can see, we've tracked everybody's performance, and our defending winner, talk about a shock pole sitter, Kyle Strykars, has put it on pole ahead of Reese Bogue. Chris Justice, very strong in practice. He starts alongside Matt Karikoff. Dalton Geyer, much higher in P5 alongside Garrett Austin, also for the Gold Octopus. 7th place went to Patrick Cowgill at the end of it all. He starts alongside Steve Loving. Dylan Schmidt and Thomas Brendel round out the top 10. CM Punk Pennington and Joey Reynolds make it all purple on row number 6. Paul Crumry unlucky 13th, ahead of our practice leader, Kevin McGarvey. Dallas Sullivan, 2nd in the championship, 15th in qualifying. Jacob Emery, Alan Dice, and Zach Panzarella bring us down to 18th. Keith Miller, allowed to qualify this week. He starts 19th alongside Tom Massey. Oliver Goff, the top Goff, alongside Richard Pruitt. Robert Goff, 23rd, alongside Brian Hoskins on row 12. Then Cole Larson and Austin Hunter, last 2 drivers in the field. Last 2 drivers to set a qualifying lap time. 26 trucks in the field tonight. Of course, some notable absences. Aren Gamushtal, of course, not here tonight. This will have to be his off week. But it's time to go racing at Las Vegas, and I'm still shocked. Kyle Strykars. I don't know what his best qualifying result of the season was, but I don't even think it was in the top 10.
No, it wasn't. And I actually have a little context to why Gamushtal is not here. He said, due to the earthquakes that happened in Turkey, I won't be racing tonight to show my respect. It affected 13.5 million people with more than 10,000 dead. One of those being a friend of his. Love Apex Racing loaded up a truck of goods for those in need, and they made every team member mandatory to go to the donation center to help. It's chaos in Turkey, and they need help. So prayers for Turkey, and I'm sure Red Cross is doing something to help them out.
It is a very good cause, so a very good reason for Ren Gamushtal to not be in the field tonight. And of course, there are more and more opportunities on the internet going up. I've seen plenty of websites for the opportunities to donate to the causes after the horrific earthquake. So hopefully anybody who can will be willing to help and donate a little bit there to help out that cause. Ren Gamushtal, of course, doing his own thing with Luff Apex Racing as well, doing everything they can to help out. But we are ready to go racing here in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series once more on a Wednesday night. It's Kyle Strycars at the head of the field, and I did look back. His best qualifying result this season, 9th. So it was in the top 10, still nowhere near pole speed, but this week, Kyle Strycars in Las Vegas have been a winning combination. Maybe like Penn and Teller, the iRacing sedan pace car pulls off onto pit road for the first time tonight, and for the first time this season, Kyle Strycars leads us to green. One and a half miles in the books as they fan 3 wide onto the apron. Kyle Strycars still in control of the field. Reese Bogue in second, Chris Justice up to third. Look at Matt Karikoff on the high line trying to dump Dalton Geyer out of the top 4.
Yeah, that outside lane is going to be crucial in the early part. Lights on here, sun's down. You have a really cool racetrack. I believe it showed 78-degree track temp here. That is perfect racing weather here in Las Vegas, and it's a dry little area, so you're not getting a little bit of the moisture in the air, and even iRacing carries the moisture. I know rain's coming soon, hopefully not on ovals, for crying out loud. We won't do that, but this is perfect. 2x2 racing. You'll see all the way through the field. You'll see people like Patrick Cowgill, your more aggressive drivers. Oh, look at swirling back, which is more aggressive drivers. Be able to go up around that outside and be able to utilize it as well. They fanned out again, 2 and then 3 wide into turn 3 and 4.
This is not the pace lap. Your eyes do not deceive you, but Steve Loving in the back there, not necessarily a driver who we'd always point out as being aggressive, but he was getting all sorts of out of shape down the back straight. I think they tried to go 3 wide back there. Didn't quite work for him. But look at this, back to 2x2x2. Karikoff trying to challenge Reese Bogue on the top. Bogue kind of clogging up the bottom.
Yeah, in these trucks, you talked about a super speedway going last week at Talladega. Well, welcome to a 1.5 mile super speedway in these trucks. This is the kind of racing that you come to expect at these 1.5 miles. Oh man, is that Lovin again? All the way back there? And he is. He's fighting that sucker.
I think that may have been McGarvey having a little bit of trouble, but up front, the tides have changed. Matt Karikoff gets to the inside of Kyle Strycars, who does end up moving to the high side. But at a place where the top has been dominant in the early running, Matt Karikoff has somehow found the way to make the bottom work. We have a new leader for the first time in 3 minutes.
Clever. He's fast. I mean, he's got a ton of pace. He was fast behind him. He was over 2/10 faster that last time by. He's found a whole lot of speed. That time they come by, he was 3/10 faster. He's really digging down there on the bottom, finding a little bit more speed. He's able to kind of pull the Harvick line from Atlanta and bring it over here. You see him just not straddling the line, just staying up above it a little bit, letting the truck rotate itself. But he's got to be careful this early in the race to not put qualifying time laps down. You have to back that pace down just a little bit, conserve the tires. Slow is fast here at Atlanta or at Las Vegas. It was fast at Atlanta.
Dalton Geyer got into the wall a little bit further back from 5th place. He's fallen all the way back to 24th with that singular mistake. You can see him in the background just falling all the way to the back of the field. Dalton Geyer, great qualifying. It's fallen apart for him early. They've single filed out. They've stratified a little bit at the head of the field, but that's about to change because here is Dalton Geyer. side by side with Cole Larson in the back of the field. Let's see if we can see some damage on the side of that truck next time we look at him. But up front, the hits keep on coming. Kyle Strykars has found his teammate Patrick Cowgill, and he's found the lead again.
Keep on coming like showtime on the strip of Vegas. Beyond Reba, those looks. It's a big mess. Patrick Cowgill had a fast truck in practice. Had it, not so fast in qualifying. That singular lap really wasn't his strong suit, but here he sits. He's coming over here to the challenge for P2. Kirikov kind of fell off just a tad bit. He's still decently fast, but burned him up really quick. If you stay in dirty air here at Las Vegas, especially in these trucks, the right front tire burns off quite a bit in the fixed setup. It does in the open setup too, but you can camber, caster, you can kind of change the balance of it. You take a look at the replay here of
Chris Justice.
And
Dylan Schmidt.
Oh, and Chris Justice was fast too. He had a really good, in practice, he was like top 3. Oh, Karakov's in the wall too.
Karakov's in the wall on his own. That's the second time we've seen that tonight. Dalton Geyer did a very similar thing coming into 3. Just rode a little bit too high and rode himself into the wall.
That's going to happen. I think he burned it up really well. He has to be pushing tight. And there's no way that he went that fast that early that he didn't potentially burn the right front off of it. And starting to be a little bit more on the tight side. It's hard to rotate the truck, hard for the back end to really catch momentum. Hard for you to carry speed at that moment because you're having to chase the truck, constantly go down to the corner. You're having to lift a little bit more, so it just chases higher and higher and higher. They're not having this issue here with Paul Crumry though. He's drove up here to second in that 88 machine.
Well, this is the rivalry coming back. Remember at Hickory, there was the interview where Patrick Cowgill said, "I don't think I'm going to be behind that guy many times this season."
Well,
he ended up behind Crumry at Charlotte. He ended up behind Crumry at Vegas now, and Paul Crumry's going for the lead as the caution comes out. Right as Crumry was trying, Kyle Strykars will hang on to the lead. Who ended up bringing the caution out? I'm looking at the back of the field. Looks like it may have been Brian Hoskins, potentially. But I'm not sure, and I'm sure whoever it is, they're not going to be Paul Crumry's friend because he was a couple of milliseconds away from taking the lead.
Who else but Quagmire? You never know. I mean, you got Dylan Schmidt and Chris Justice actually just got saved by this. Whatever damage they had, if they came down pit road, they went one lap down. They were in the box. There's the caution. The 24 inch.
Threw it.
Oh, just got him. Tag, you're it.
And Dalton Geyer and Cole Larson onto the scene. Cole Larson, I think, was really the reason for the caution after he absolutely slammed the inside wall there. Keith Miller got a bite out of it as well. Caution flies for the first time here at Las Vegas. Like you said, it's not a super speedway, but it races like a super speedway, and when one little incident happens, there's not much room to avoid it.
This is
Oh, we got split strategies.
That was they read my mind. I was about to say that if I was about second on back, I would have trapped the leader. You could have trapped Kyle Strykars in that moment, because now let's look for a second. Top 5 stayed out. Everybody else behind you is in. So I mean, you got 10 green flag laps on your tires, 13 laps so far. When it comes to the caution and whatnot, you're slow on the backstretch, but everybody else pitted. Reese Bogue, Matt Karakov, those are 2 drivers you don't want a handful of fresh tires to and say, catch me. Like, that's all you got to do. Well, Garrett Austin beat him off the pit road. That's a heck of a stop. 14-8. Beat Bogue, Brindle, all of them.
Garrett Austin has been having the race of his season so far. I don't want to jinx him. I don't want to say anything too early, but this has been the most pace we've seen out of Garrett Austin yet. Dalton Geyer still sitting in the pits. Remember, he has multiple different axes of damage, but here is Garrett Austin for the Gold Octopus Motorsports. Any chance I can get to shout out that team name, and any chance we can get to look at this paint scheme, it is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's a very inclusive scheme. I love it when drivers are able to show creativity. It's iRacing. Your truck, your car is your coloring book. Be creative with it. That's the one thing on this. Like when I'm on a league race of some sorts, and I know it's going to be broadcasted, I'm going to make that truck as bold as possible. I want you to notice it. Yeah, I'm going to make sure you know that's mine. Like it's distinctive to me, and I think when I start racing more, in league races, I think I'm actually going to race in the PRL for their next season, in more of my suit. Hopefully I have time to do it, but I'm going to make that thing as it's going to pop. Me and the Gold Octopus team might have to have a conversation about who makes their paint schemes.
You might be able to be one of the golden tentacles. You never know. K-Dog brought up a metaphor that I'm so disappointed I didn't use. It's Las Vegas. Of course, some drivers chose to gamble, but who's going to hit the jackpot? All credit to K-Dog for that, but who's it going to be? Will it be the likes of Strykars, Crumry, Loving, and Goff, and Cowgill, who stayed out, took the risk, or will Garrett Austin and the rest of the gang, literally the entire rest of the field, on those fresh tires take advantage? We'll wait and see the blend here as the iRacing stand pace car will turn the lights off here. We'll go racing in 1.5 more miles. Everybody else who had damage, by the way, is still on the lead lap, so good news for them. Dalton Geyer has not gone a lap down. He's still on the lead lap. Miller still on the lead lap. Schmidt still on the lead lap. It's just Chris Justice who needs another caution to get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. And, of course, another driver missing from tonight that I ceased to mention, Colton Easterday, has been, he's out for this week. I think he's out for the next 2 weeks as well. He's very busy in the world of the theater, so instead of driving, he's acting, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks, and maybe that'll turn his luck around.
Still needs something to turn his luck around.
I think he acts in, like, murder mystery plays, so maybe he needs to get murdered to stop getting murdered in the races.
Elementary, Watson. I like that. He's done a lot of wrecking in the PRL on Wednesday nights. We need him to do a lot of winning.
Kyle Strykars has been, I guess you could say he's been doing a lot of winning. If you think data-wise, he has won a pretty high percentage of the races he's been here for this season with his win at Talladega, but he's ready to lead the field once more. He's had some challenges from the likes of Crumry and a few others. Now he defends from the entire rest of the field with just a few buffers behind him on those older tires. For the second time tonight, the iRacing sedan pace car clears the track. Kyle Strykars sees a familiar sight, and he's got his teammate behind him to help him out. We're green at Las Vegas once more.
They're about to get swallowed up like a person in Jaws. This is about to be highway robbery. Whoever jumps on that outside first. Yeah. It's like a cop chasing somebody in Mayberry, because they are not going to be in the top 5 for long.
It was a great synchronized start for the two Whataback SRT drivers, though. That looked like a private label team hype restart. Strykars and Cowgill, I did see in the Whataback chat, there's about 15 drivers there altogether, but somehow they found their own channel of communication and they found a way to hear each other, because they synced that up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they probably talk to each other in the team version here. But look at this. We're gonna jump up here, go 2 by 2 by 2. One in the middle, like a dice. Crumry takes the lead finally, but for how long does he hold it? Because the first person on fresh tires is Garrett Austin in the 34. He's found the outside. Bogue's stuck. Reese Bogue is stuck on the bottom right there. I believe that would be the 15 at golf. That's going to be slowing him up. He's going to try to take it on the apron, but it's not. He does. Oh, don't do it.
Reese Bogue just trying to find any gap he can. The media center kind of gets in the way of any calamity there, but Reese Bogue did have to back out of that. He's desperately trying to find any gaps in the track, but he is absolutely clogged there. There is a Robert Goff blockage down there. Bogue, is he going to get to the inside this time? No. Garrett Austin, though, has been moving forward, and further ahead, Steve Loving, who stayed out, he's moving his way forward as well. He's cleared the Whataback drivers as well.
Now, right now, what they need, you have 5 laps, 3 of them under caution, 2 of them under the condition. Hold them up. Make a roadblock. Go 2 by 2. Don't let a Garrett Austin, don't let a Reese Bogue, who has lost a couple positions. He went from 5th to 8th. He was at 9th for a second, and he finally got to the outside, but don't let them by you. make an absolute roadblock. Make it like a construction site. Everybody's going 35, 10 under the speed limit, having a honking horn at you. It's weird. But if you don't let them get up there and a caution comes out with 10 laps on their tires, you come and pit, yeah, you're going to start deep in the field, but everybody else might follow you. It might be the opportunity that you can shortstop this and be just fine. But it looks like right now Garrett Austin doesn't necessarily have the speed to go up there and contend. He might have burned him up already or 7 laps in. And, well, he's actually slower than the race leader, Paul Crumry.
Garrett Austin did just pass our pole sitter and former race leader Kyle Strykar's. Joey Reynolds is about to follow him through. So Garrett Austin definitely getting held up here in traffic, but I think you can definitely see they are faster. The problem is, as Cowgill decides to peek to the outside of Steve Loving, this track isn't all that wide. RaceSpoT tried his best to make it a 3-groove racetrack. It didn't quite work for him. He learned that the hard way. Garrett Austin can be faster than these guys, but he is struggling a lot to get by him as Steve Loving goes for a Steve Loving swerve down to the bottom.
Yeah, Steve threw everything out the window here. This is the Steve Loving I was talking about. This is the one that I was looking for. This is the Patrick Cowgill I was looking for when we started this season. You know, every single week last week I thought, man, if they could just catch a break. If those two can catch a break, they're going to be fantastic. And now here they are. Steve washes up. Lap traffic's in the way. Oh, don't do it. Don't send it.
Garrett Austin isn't going to listen to you. Yeah, he did listen to you eventually. He backed out of it. He thought better of it, but he certainly had a chance.
Oh, yeah, there's always a chance. Even a 0.0001% chance to do it. I mean, this might be his golden opportunity for the Golden Octopus team. Push Steve down the back straightaway. Wash him up just a little bit. Let it see. He's already bobbling up through the corner. He's washing up over there on the door of the 31 of Patrick Cowgill. Get the run off the exit. Push him down the back straightaway. Make him carry more speed. Don't do it. Come on, Garrett. Just push him. Move him out of your way.
With that little peak, that's allowed Joey Reynolds to get up to the high line. Joey Reynolds might be in the optimal place right now. He's going to get blocked off by Patrick Cowgill, but Cowgill elects to move down, park it in the middle of the track, block off Steve Loving. Joey Reynolds is going to get to the outside of Loving now, and remember, he's got the freshest tires of anybody in the top 4 right now. Joey Reynolds might be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, but this run right there is going to kill him. Right there, he got to the back bumper of the 27. I got the block off the corner. He's not going to be able to carry the momentum all the way down the back into 3, but he's going to get the run through the center potentially. This is also exactly what the top 3 want, right? Because it was 31.6, 31.6, 31.7, and they are running equal lap times here. Like, you could find space on this track, but this is what everybody wants, because when you get to that 15, 16, 20 laps in the run, hey, everybody's going to come pit. These 25-lap-old tires might end up being the gamble to win this race.
Matt Karakov, remember him? He's back to the high side. Saw him running all the way up to the wall. RaceSpotTV as well. He's on a recovery drive. We saw him fall back a little bit, but this guy has not won the majority of the races this season for no reason. He gets blocked off by Joey Reynolds, though, who I think knows the danger of having RaceSpotTV get a chance at winning this race.
Yeah, but that's one person I'm telling you don't want to block. I think it's something next season. If I do run the trucker Xfinity and Reese is in the field, I ain't blocking him. Oh, come on. Oh, there they go. They're wrecking. Oh, care.
Oh, and there goes half the field. Collected in as well. Joey Reynolds, Brendel. I think I saw Patrick Cowgill, McGarvey. And it was Kyle Strykar's, by the way, our pole sitter. Zach Panzarella, Goff.
Karakov.
It's the big one at Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas for Paul Crumry and Patrick Cowgill and Steve Loving. Might have got him there, but goodness gracious, great balls of fire. 27 lap old tires. That's top 5.
Here it is.
Oh, just washed. Just bobbled. Bam. Bam. Get some, son.
Oh, Austin Hunter got the worst hit out of all of that.
Oh. Oh, my goodness. Holy meatball and spaghetti-o.
Quite the toll there. That's about a third of the field that was involved. So lots of drivers going to be getting heavy damage here, but the entirety of the field brings it down pit road this time. This has been a great gift for Dallas Sullivan. who hasn't had much pace tonight, but second in the championship, back up into the top 5. This could still be a good night for Dallas Sullivan, but suddenly the lead becomes a race off pit road. Paul Crumry further back in the field. He didn't have such great qualifying, so we'll see him come back into the shot in a matter of moments here. But Garrett Austin, Patrick Cowgill, Steve Loving, who's going to win the race off pit road. It's 4 tires for everybody, and Cowgill just barely comes out behind Crumry.
Well, you look right here at Steve Loving, that there's a smidge damage. I don't know if we can, use that as a unit of measurement, a smidge.
I would understand if there was a smidge, considering he caused the big one there.
Just a smidge, nothing too big. Okay, big deal. Hey, look at Brian Hoskins' view of this. Did he make it through this, or did he get swallowed?
I think he did, because he's in the top 10. Brian Hoskins needed some good luck for once. There's Karakov. Whoop! A huge cloud of gravel. Emery. And he made it. Well done, Brian.
Good job, Brian Hoskins. That's what I'm talking about in the 520.
Brian does a ton of road course racing in the PRL, so those are just a couple of extra chicanes for him. No big deal.
Yeah, it's just a bus stop there, a chicane there, and you just missed the big one at Vegas. And yeah, you're right. That wiped out. See, that wiped out 18th on back. Justice, there's a lot of people in that. The 77 was in it. There is a ton of wrecked trucks that are sitting on pit lane, and it looks like an early night for a ton of them. I mean, I could use a good night's sleep tonight.
Matt Karakov is going to be especially disappointed because he had pace to win a race again. Remember at Charlotte 2 weeks ago, he had pace to win. He put it on pole, and then a technical issue took him out. Couldn't make it at Talladega. I think he had more technical issues. He was back here tonight, was fighting for the win, and unfortunately gets collected in an accident that isn't his fault. But as always, there's some drivers who can't avoid the bad luck, and Matt Karakov, he's going to be hoping that Rockingham is a little bit less chaotic. He might have some danger there. If you're going to Rockingham to be less chaotic and then Daytona after that, you might have some difficulties.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news. That's normally my job here, is to be the one to bring it all down to earth. You're not going to Rockingham to be safe. That's not a place that you just where are we going next week? Rockingham? I'm gonna have a safe race. I practice a lot. I plan on winning it. It's gonna be a guarantee. That place doesn't guarantee nothing. It might guarantee a bunch of upset people. You might have somebody throwing virtual hands. I think, and this PRL heads above, I hope you watch the best show on Wednesday night. I think we should have a WWE 2K23 league that when people get done racing, we throw hands on WWE.
Somebody who might want to show hands here is Austin Hunter. We'll talk to him for a brief moment as we prepare to go racing once more here. Austin Hunter, we got a few moments. What happened?
Oh, just got a little greedy, tried to stay in it till the yellow came out, and just barely got clipped by a teammate. Race over for me.
I hate it.
Is there less than 17 minutes of damage? Is there a chance of getting back out there?
0%. I got 34 minutes left.
We'll let you get about half of that. We'll see how much you can get repaired. But we are ready to go racing once more here. Paul Crumry in control of the field over Patrick Cowgill. This is a new situation here for Paul Crumry. He's not used to restarting from the lead, frankly. He's been much better this season. He's found his new footing. He's been fighting for podiums, for top fives. But this is a whole new situation for him, and he doesn't have any teammates around him. But Paul Crumry in the Mountain Dew number 88. He's going to take control of the field. Those bright green wheels, the darker green paint scheme. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls off, and Paul Crumry takes the green flag.
What was that?
I don't even know at this point.
That scared me a little bit. I was like, what?
Crumry. I tried to roll my R's, and I'm not good enough at that.
You sound like you still have peanut butter in your mouth.
I might.
Hey, there's racing out here. Garrett Austin got a heck of a jump. He, don't block. Don't block Patrick Cowgill either. Hang on to her in here.
Patrick
Pretty wide.
Cowgill clips the apron a little bit. Clean, though. He's still getting wiggly. He's still going Mark Kalin mode. He is able to recover it, and there's trouble at the back. Brian Hoskins, he was able to avoid the big one last time out. Not so lucky this time. Brian Hoskins goes around. I think Jacob Emery may have been involved as well. As soon as the caution went away, it's back out again. Let's see what happened to Brian Hoskins.
Apron monster got him.
Oh, and Richard Pruitt nowhere to go. That was Zach Panzarella who got clipped. Bad luck for Brian Hoskins. Or unfortunately, another caution out here with 16 minutes to go. Dallas Sullivan, he's going to end up back in third. He avoided that. We re-rack him again.
Didn't we just praise Brian? I thought we just praised him in the top 10.
Well, we praised him for incident avoidance, not apron avoidance. That's the problem.
Yeah. I feel like, every time we hype it, something bad happens after. It's not good. I feel like we're the ones that cause 90% of it here.
That is possible, but with all the bad luck that everybody else in the field has been feeling, who's in the top 10? CM Pennington sits 8th right now. His best run of the season easily. And Tom Amasi as well, who is kind of ducked the bad luck for a couple of weeks. He got his first top 10 a couple of weeks ago. I believe still finished in the top 10 at Talladega. He sits P9 right now with his old buddy CM. Two drivers who have had a lot of bad luck, having good runs so far tonight.
I'm going to apologize in advance to CM Pennington and Tom Amasi. If anything happens to you in this race, it's Joey's fault. I had nothing to do with it. I'm Terry, sweet, lovable, innocent Terry. That's mean old Joey Tebbin. It's his fault. So if you don't finish at the top 10 or you wreck, blame Joey. All Joey's fault, 100%. I don't even know who he is.
Neither do I.
Deniability. I'm just going to deny right now. And be just fine. If I walk away for a second, just know it's Joey's fault.
Dallas Sullivan's in a pretty good position here. Somehow, after having a terrible qualifying by his standards, he's found himself ahead of his championship rival Reese Bogue. That's the way the tables have turned here. Dallas Sullivan in the top 5. Some drivers who he's been faster than, and the majority of this season, with his championship leader behind him. This is not a Reese Bogue championship won already. Dallas Sullivan and Alan Dice, for that matter, only one spot behind Bogue. Reese Bogue is in a loaded dice sandwich. That's not going to be a comfortable position for him if he wants to beat these guys to the championship.
We are in Vegas, and loaded dice is still illegal, but good place to have a team named Loaded Dice than here in Vegas. Oh, by the way, Austin Hunter's mom is watching, a.k.a. I mean, we're pretty much... I feel like we're a part of the family at this moment. So, I guess we're hunters by association? Is that how that works? I know it's guilty by association, but, are we...
I mean, there's so many hunters in the PRL that I think we're hunter-gatherers.
Yeah, I mean, so if we just change our name, I'll be Terry Hunter, you be Joey Hunter. But that's actually a cool name, Joey Hunter. That's a TV. We could make a TV show out of that. Joey Hunter's Exotic Zoo Travels.
Maybe. If the Discovery Channel is listening, I'm open for anything. The iRacing Stand Pace Car, I think, is just as bored as us right now because everybody is already packed up. They're waiting for one to go here. They just want to go racing now. We will go racing here in about 1.5 more miles, and hopefully we get the rhythm back.
I mean, I feel like we do a good job at turning the switch on and off. And see, she agrees. That's how it works. So we're hunters by association. I like it. I mean, I think Austin's pretty cool. I don't know about Nick. He doesn't seem much of a talker. It's just Nick.
Nick Hunter is only a talker when he's in the chat. He's our intrepid insider reporter on Sunday nights for the Cup Series.
Indeed.
He's always given us some top secret information. He's given us all the strategy tips. So very helpful on Sunday nights. Don't hear from him as often on the Wednesday nights. So maybe that needs to change here. We ride on board the front bumper of Richard Pruitt here. This is kind of telling of the attrition that we've had in the field so far tonight. Richard Pruitt currently sits 11th for SGE Esports, but if we take a look at the right side of that truck, it is not a very friendly sight. It has a huge dent in it. It looks like something you'd find in the Waffle House parking lot. It's not a very pretty truck, but the left side is very pretty with Melendez Online Consulting, with our friends at Frito-Lay who Mike Witt works for. The left side's very pretty. Just don't look at the right side. It's not so nice. But up front, Paul Crumry, he's having the day of his life in the PRL, still in control of the field. Didn't have very long for anybody to challenge him, and I think he's pretty happy with that. He's kind of hoping that we get a couple more cautions to finish this thing out. But once again, the iRacing Sedan pace car pulls off. The green wheels, the green truck, the green flag for Paul Crumry.
Green.
I think it's my cue. That was an excellent restart for Paul Crumry. Cowgill's not getting the restart on that outside. I don't know if he's missing a shift or if he's kind of stutter stepping with the gas. But Garrett Austin down at the bottom doing a really good job. We'll see if Dallas Sullivan gets aggressive or if Dallas Sullivan decides to push. He chose violence, but then he chose a second at the same time.
Patrick Cowgill building up the momentum on the high side. He took a long while to build that momentum up, but once he did, he is absolutely flying. He's got his old buddy Steve Loving up there. RaceSpoke, though, doing RaceSpoke things. Peaks down to the bottom. He's going to make it 3 wide into turn 1 if he can. The momentum's not there, though. He has to back out, and now Alan Dice is on the attack.
Yeah, Dice said, hey, I'll take it. Let me go to the outside. We'll make it work. Look who's sitting in fourth. Pay attention to fourth for a second. Holy macaroni. He told me the other week, Terry, I want to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. This is what it takes to win in the PRL. There's a lot of competition here. The competition's here in the Truck Series. There's a ton of competition in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. And if you want to win, take that sucker to the outside. Go where nobody else is at and rim ride it. And he's doing that. He's finding lanes that people didn't even think existed. I mean, he's the highest person in 3 and 4.
Would you believe it? Tom Amasi to the outside. You were saying somebody else was the highest person in 3 and 4? Well, Tom Amasi with the upstate New York beer on his truck with Genesee. He is a Buffalo gal going round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. And Tom Amasi joins the lead pack for the first time.
Yeah, we knocking on wood. We didn't jinx Tom Amasi. We like you, Tom. Good racer. It's Loving. What a move to the bottom. Gets on the back bumper of Crumry. Pushing. Don't push.
I think the lesson we've learned here is being to the outside of Steve Loving at Las Vegas is pretty scary. I don't think Patrick Cowgill's enjoying this situation right now.
Heck no. I love it. I love this camera view. That's the view I like to watch. Let's pull this out at the old Daytona. But heck no. If you want to win in the PRL, you have to make moves like that. RaceSpoke makes moves like that. Oh, they're Peyton, son. It's fight night in Vegas.
There is no Steve Loving going on up front. He's all Steve hating right now. He's all Steve aggressive. And Tom Amasi is joining him. Again, Tom Amasi's progress is not done. Steve Loving has been the owner of the top, but Tom Amasi's joining him. He wants to go even topper as he swerves down into Garrett Austin, for that matter.
Oh,
dear Tom.
He made it. And then Reese is like, yeah, I'll join. Whatever. Y'all look like you are going to potentially wreck here. Right, just jump to the outside. I'll figure something out. Follow you. Oh, my gosh. This is the kind of racing we wanted to see the whole time.
And you know who's very, very happy about this as everybody else tries to kill each other? Paul Crumry just gets to slowly but surely walk away with the lead. Nobody's able to challenge him. Steve Loving's too busy battling with Cowgill. Now they've kind of separated out a little bit. Steve Loving may get a chance at some hand-to-hand combat, but there is contact between Cowgill and Dallas Sullivan through the quad oval. No caution, but Dallas Sullivan, who was having a great day for his championship, it all comes undone.
Yeah, that woman that I had wrapped on my finger just come unwound. That's what happened there. But look who just jumped into third. Garrett Austin jumps up there. Loving's caught the leader. Cowgill's fell to fifth. Dice has fell back. Pennington's still in the top 10. Tom Amasi's still there. This is a great day for the PRL. And I don't think Steve Loving has won a race.
Nope. Nobody in the top 10 but Reese Bogue has won a race in the PRL.
So, potentially, we're looking at a first-time winner. Oh, to the apron it goes, son. Oh, he
And
turns
Steve
up.
Loving turns Paul Crumry. Crumry saves it, but Steve
I'd
Loving
wrecked
has been a little bit of a menace, and as he goes for the lead on Paul Crumry, we didn't see what happened. It was kind of in our periphery there, but Steve Loving and Paul Crumry make contact for the lead.
Oh, that's what I'm looking at.
There it is.
Apron, send it, not lifting, get wrecked, son. That's it. That's all you got to do. That right there would have made you change your diaper. Like, anybody else in that field from second, third on back was like, eyes got wide, probably pooped a little, maybe a little pee, not 100% sure, but holy guacamole. That's how you save a truck in front of the entire field staring you down the face. And you're Steve Loving. Now you got to hold off the winner, the dude who's closed a ton. You got to shut him down, and you got to win this race. You got 5 minutes. You need 2 cautions. You need 2 cautions if you're Steve. Did I have to race that forward?
Steve Loving was definitely at fault for the caution before, but that time he wasn't really given any room, so you can't really put any blame on him for going for that one there.
No.
So no hard feelings for Steve Loving on that one. But Reese Bogue, like you said, right behind, and just like at Talladega last week, a bad day for Reese Bogue suddenly turns into a good day anyway. His rival Dallas Sullivan has been taken out in the wall. His only championship rival still up in the top 5 is Alan Dice. And he's got Patrick Cowgill and Garrett Austin between him and his rival. It's a great day for Reese Bogue.
Yeah, heck no. Go back to that move that Steve made. No. I ain't fought for that. Anybody who posts on social media and posts out there these pictures and videos like, oh, this guy sent it. Yeah, you're right. You blocked out the back straightaway. You set yourself up for failure in 3 and 4. You block down the front stretch, you set yourself up for failure in 1 and 2. Like, if you block all the way down to the apron, you put that guy in second place in a big risk. Either he's going to lift and lose spots, or you're not. It's Alan Dice going for Patrick Cowgill here for that 4th place position. Trapping to the outside on old tires with a little bit of damage on the right side. That's a recipe for disaster as the 44 of Pennington. Top 5 looking ride, son.
Might not even just be a top 5. With the way everybody's been racing, there has been some great aggression. There's definitely been some tire wear. CM Pennington, can't count him out of this as well, but Patrick Cowgill still trying to ride the outside on Alan Dice. Them two cannot be separated. Alan Dice desperately wants to clear Patrick Cowgill, though. He needs to minimize points lost to Reese Bogue. After today, there's 3 rounds left in the championship. If Alan Dice wants to keep a championship hope alive, he can't afford to lose any spots to Reese Bogue.
Yep, can't afford it at all. He has to figure it out. He has to get around here. He has to hope that Garrett Austin puts the moves here on Reese Bogue as well, but it looks like Garrett's having just a little bit of issues with the drive in. The same thing that's happening here with Dice. He slides up the track. He wasn't able to get on the gas all the way through, but Patrick Cowgill did on the outside. Now the 44 is in a box. He can't go anywhere except for the tippy top of this racetrack. And if you haven't been there all race long, you can't trust it. Now you got 3 minutes to go. You could throw your whole race away of 30 minutes in 3 minutes if you go out there in a place that's really undeserved for you.
CM Pennington just trying to figure out where to go. He didn't go for the 3 wide send on the apron. He elected not to. He backed out of it, but Steve Loving definitely seems like the fastest truck of this 3-car trio here. Patrick Cowgill finally clear of Alan Dice now. Dice brings it back down to the bottom. That may open the door to the top for CM Pennington. Here he comes.
Come on, Pennington at 44. We don't have favorites. I'm a little biased. I can be, I guess. I love this. I love this run. I like that Crumry's come back up here, but to see the 44 having a good run, potentially a top 5, that's pretty awesome. That's a lot of skills. Oh, that almost ended it. Good
Dallas Sullivan, who's gone a lap down, understandably with heavy damage. Dice lifts out of it. Pennington lifts out of it even more. No changes there, but look further back. Paul Crumry, you know he's going to be aggressive after what happened. He wants a top 5, and it's still on the table. We've still got about 4 laps to go, and Paul Crumry's going to throw everything at CM Pennington right now.
Yeah, I mean, Crumry's also got a little bit more tires I know they're on the same lap, but the fact that you took a four-wheel slide on these tires might not be the best move. If I was Paul, if you could make an easy pass, make an easy pass. But if you got to send it in there, and see he's washing up right there in the center of 3 and 4. But interesting in the chat, somebody said that the 4 is saving tire. That's a big possibility. One lap to go to make that run. You've seen how Steve, is willing to go. He might send it there. See this move up here with Dice, and that's Calgill again. Dice isn't letting up.
He's not letting up, but he can't really challenge him. 2 laps to go at the line. Now the question is, what can RaceSpoke do? He's been riding in tow of Steve Loving. He's been riding about 2/10 behind this whole time, but time is running out. 3 miles to go. RaceSpoke needs to find a way to get by.
Yeah, time is of the essence. I mean, you're talking about 2 laps to go. If he doesn't make this move now, if he loses any more time coming to this white flag, I mean, he's already down 4/10. This Steve Loving train might finally be pulling into victory lane.
RaceSpoke doubled the gap through 1 and 2 there. I think he was trying something different and trying to run the high side, but it did not work for him. Off of turn 4, Steve Loving is going to take the white flag here. Can Steve Loving finally get that first win on the table here? Can he hold off RaceSpoke? There's another lap truck coming up ahead. I think that may be Dallas Sullivan going another lap down, but I don't think he's going to cause any trouble. Off of turn 2, RaceSpoke throwing everything at it. That's Robert Goff, by the way, up ahead. But RaceSpoke has nothing for him. Off of 2, he's falling back. He might be under pressure from Garrett Austin. But through 3 and 4, Steve Loving got himself into a little bit of controversy today. Got himself into a little bit of contact, but it's a win all the same. Finally, for the first time in the PRL, Steve Loving wins.
It's about damn time. Where has that aggressive Steve been? Where has that been? From the opening race where we saw this, we instantly, we talk every pre-race before we even go on the air and say, that's our pick. We name it. And when we saw Patrick Calgill and Steve Loving in this field, we said, those are our picks. That's a chance. We didn't know who RaceSpoke was. But this is the guy, him in the 31, as the 88's pissed. We thought that was an opportunity, that we were going to see more of this. We were going to see the 27 doing donuts on the front stretch. Finally, now is this the time he takes the monkey off his back? He's done it. It's there. Can he win more?
We've certainly got a great rivalry for the rest of the season. It's definitely going to be Steve Loving versus Paul Crummery, maybe Steve Loving versus Matt Karikoff. He gets some short-lived donuts out of the way, and he gets his first win of the season, and Love Racing's first win of the season. RaceSpoke comes home second, but if it's any solace to him, he's beaten all of his championship rivals again and almost solidified his championship lead even more. Garrett Austin, easily his best result of the season, 3rd place for him. Patrick Calgill, P4, and Alan Dice, the 5 in P5. CM Pennington, absolutely his best result of the season, in 6th. Paul Crummery going to be ruining that block down the back straight in 7th. Tom Amasi, another top 10 for him. Kevin McGarvey, a comeback to 9th. And Richard Pruitt, top 10 for him for SGE Esports as well. Dylan Schmidt came back from some damage to finish 11th. Panzarella, Emery, Geyer, and Justice, all also some recovery drives to get back onto the lead lap. Robert Goff and Dallas Sullivan went 1 lap down. Cole Larson went 2 laps down. Keith Miller brought it to the finish, 9 laps down. And then we start to get into the used truck lot of trucks with heavy damage. Oliver Goff, P20. I think he still did make it to the line, though. Brian Hoskins was out, though. Joey Reynolds, Thomas Brendel, Austin Hunter, Matt Karikoff, and our pole sitter Kyle Strykars all ran into assorted amounts of trouble. The driver who ran into a little bit of trouble, no trouble for him in his win, though. Steve Loving, you finally got it done at Vegas. Talk us through those. Talk us through the entirety of the race. Basically, it was pretty action-packed for you.
It was a good race. I'm actually super excited. My first PRL win, finally. Been desperate. Finally pulled it off, but earlier in the race, I thought more people would stay out in tires, and they didn't. So I thought that was gonna be a bad move. Managed to still hold it. Slipped to one corner. You guys probably saw me move up a half to a 3/4 lane. Don't blame the guy behind me. Slid down behind me, or in the inside, and we went 3 wide. But I'm not sure if that was net code. I don't know if I went up or he came down. But in any case, it was close. And just kept pushing.
And I got to ask as well, a potential rivalry for the rest of the season. You and Paul Crumry coming together into turn 3. Talk us through your perspective there.
Yeah, I know he's protecting the inside. He's not going to give it up. Nobody is. And that's smart. I was trying to get a good run on the high line and looked like he was moving up a little bit. So I did a crossover. And my spotter said car high. So I thought I had just enough to where he would probably give a little bit of an edge, and I just kept it down on the line. I got to look at the replay, but I think he just barely touched me. I consider it a racing ordeal. It certainly was not an intentional, what I would call bump and run. Did not plan to do it at all. I know he's a little bit angry, but it happens, and hopefully he looks at the replay and he realizes it was not intentional.
Well, congrats again. Your first win in the PRL. Finally got that first win down. We'll see you next week at Rockingham.
Appreciate it. Real quick, I want to call out Love Racing. Appreciate the support. My teammates in the race, PRL, for running a great series. Charles doing a great job with it. And, of course, you guys for you and Terry doing a fantastic broadcast.
Yeah. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Loving someone. Steve Loving wins for the first time. RaceSpoT comes home second. Not going to be too disappointed with his points haul, though, and he gets to talk to Terry.
What's up, Reese?
Oh man, not much. That was a crazy one to say the least.
You worked pretty hard on that.
Oh yeah, that was pretty wild. I mean, I pit there the first yellow. I probably messed up, but pit the first yellow, and then ended up getting the back of the pack a little bit farther than I wanted to be, and I had to work my way up. Then we got a couple quick yellows. That didn't really help out either. And then we got just a long enough run to where I had to pit again, so I was using up my sets of tires. I didn't really want to. But, in the end, not bad. Get through all the craziness, missing 2 or 3 wrecks there, and coming home P2. I just burnt my stuff up like 3 laps too early. Just, oh, man, I wish I could have got that one, but good job to Steve.
I hate that you stole my follow-up question to that would tell me that you burnt your stuff up, so I'll just ask you a random question. What's your favorite potato chip?
See, to get my favorite what?
What's your favorite potato chip?
Oh, either salt and vinegar or sour cream and onion.
I don't think we could ever talk again. That's RaceSpotTV.
Yeah, thank you guys for putting this on. Thank you for your racing subs, Neonism, Zero Dime Photography, Rich for the help. Colton couldn't make it tonight, but we'll be back next week. And thank you guys for putting this all on every week.
Thank you, sir.
I, for one, will not be taking any salt and vinegar slander, but next driver up here, Garrett Austin, for the Gold Octopus Motorsports first top 3 of the season. It was like a whole new Garrett Austin out there tonight. How did Las Vegas work for you so well?
Bro, I never thought I'd ever get the chance to talk to you guys. I am here right now. I'm like still shaking. Sorry.
Understandable. I want to ask you, because we do get this chance now. I want to ask you about that paint scheme. It's one of my personal favorites on the grid. It always stands out. You're always easy to pick out of the pack. Tell us about it.
Awesome. Okay, so that means it's doing its job. My wife actually made it for me. She just started doing some custom paints for me, and the Gold Octopus is actually her business that she has through Etsy. So she painted the truck bright pink so that way she could pick me out a lot easier during the broadcast.
Well, there's our answer. Now we finally know it's not just a funny team name. It actually has a purpose. But 3 more weeks to go. Rockingham, Daytona Auto Club. Maybe we'll get a chance to speak to you again. Who knows?
I have no faith in myself at Rockingham, but maybe everything else after that.
Oh. We have faith in you.
Congrats again on P3, Garrett Austin. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
I believe that's going to round No, we do have time to talk to 1 or 2 more drivers. I got to think back to the results now. I've lost my order here. Who finished 4th? Was it Patrick Cowgill?
Cowgill, yeah.
It was Patrick Cowgill. All right. So Patrick Cowgill, he's waited long enough. He gets to talk to Terry.
Patrick, what are you doing?
Apparently not driving very good.
Okay, yeah. Don't be too down on yourself. It's Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I know.
Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl because I don't really watch football.
Okay. Best moment of the race?
Probably the start when I was racing up front there.
hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers.
Thank you for your time, Patrick Cowgill. We could be friends.
Thank you.
That's P4.
We learn new things about Patrick Cowgill every week. We got one more driver to talk to because there's still a couple more extraneous minutes left in practice in the Xfinity series. Chris Justice, welcome to the booth once more. Talk us through your night in Las Vegas.
Well, guys, it was a disappointing run. Got into an accident at the start of the race. I think the 92 just came up, didn't have room, put me into the wall, but did finish 15th. I just want to thank Coronado for sponsoring me and giving me the opportunity to race them in the truck. And I want to thank my Bull Creek Racing teammates, Jacob Emery, who finished 13th, and Jeremy Bailey, who wasn't able to make it tonight, but hopefully he'll be back next week in time for Rockingham.
Got two questions here. First, you've got that beautiful banner behind you. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from? I have a theory, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
That was actually an idea from me and my brother. He's an engineer for Coronado, and we just made a press conference type banner, plotted it out on plotter paper, stuck it behind me with a little bit of lighting, and off we go.
Very, very interesting. And the West Virginia Mountaineers, I guess I should have some spirit here at the University of Pittsburgh. I guess we should be rivals, but what are they doing for you?
Nothing.
Letting me down more than this race. Next season is not going to be fun, but I got to root for my boys and cheer them on all the way.
Well, congrats on the run tonight, Chris. We'll see you next week at good old Rockingham.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Go Vols.
Always a pleasure. I was trying to goad him into thinking that was Established Traffic Control, but apparently it's a different company. Maybe it's somebody in West Virginia.
Here's
the rest of the season for the Truck Series. As I said, Rockingham, Daytona Auto Club to finish things out. 3 different tracks, 3 different states, 3 different locations, and it should be a pretty interesting place to end the season. But we're not done racing tonight. We've got a whole nother race to do, and it looks very familiar. We're back in Old Atlanta. We were here a couple of weeks ago in the Cup Series, and now we take it on in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series. Still a synchronous schedule, or a synchronously timed schedule for this series, so 3 more weeks to go as well in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series. We will sync up at Rockingham, though, next week, so it'll be all Rockingham in that doubleheader there, then Daytona and Auto Club as well. We've synced up with the real-life NASCAR schedule, aside from Rockingham, of course, so we're going to be seeing double for the next 3 weeks.
Can't wait. Rockingham is Rockingham, and then Daytona Auto Club. Obviously, we'll see it in the Xfinity Series too. So you'll be double the action, double the track, double the, thirsty plate running. I didn't know where I was going with that. It sounded good. And Auto Club's always a fantastic race when it comes to the PRL.
Championship has actually been very, very close this season. It's Sean Campbell up front. It's been kind of the road course dominated season. Even though we've only been to 1 road course this season, it's Sean Campbell, Abner Acosta, and Elliott White, your top 3 in the championship, and it's a huge breakaway from the rest of the field. Bradley Holly and Jeff Evans, they may still be in contention within 40 points of the leader, but it's definitely looking like Campbell, Acosta, and White at the top of the sheets. Thomas Sink, Michael Diaz, Adam Zemke, Danny Cervantes, and Jeff Hollingsworth, they're going to fight for the last spots in the top 5. They're all pretty close for that, even if they are separated from the rest. Precision Racing Esports, they are dominantly in the lead of the team's championship still. Abner and Elliott White, they have been doing so much consistent work. Michael Diaz picking up great points as well. They have a 61-point lead over Whataback Overdrive. Whataback back row and Whataback front row have found each other again, though, so it's Whataback 2, 3, 4, and then Carl Ramrod rounds out the top 5. They're pretty close to front row Whataback, so that's going to be a close battle there. Private Label Team Hype, Riding Shotgun Motorsports, both Rangers and Outlaws, OGR Racing, and the sort of extraneous Precision Racing Esports squad, 112. They're just picking up points when they can on their part-time season. But qualifying currently underway at Atlanta. 3 minutes to go. Some drivers already out on track. Bradley Holly, second in practice, so he's looking to get his first win of the season. He doesn't want this to be his first winless season ever on Wednesday nights, but he has an incredible challenge because the driver who beat him in qualifying, we'll see him a little bit later in this qualifying session, Liam Sheen, has joined the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series, a Road to Pro competitor and a tough competitor.
I say this every week. I said it last season, and he proved me wrong. This will be the first year that Bradley Holly doesn't win in the PRL.
certainly running out of time to do so. Only 4 weeks to go. He was having a great race in Indianapolis last week. Unfortunately, a little bit of a kerfluffle with a lapped car, ended with him in the Oliver Askew wall, and that was Bradley Holly's day done. But he's put at P2, behind Elliott White still, though, so still a little bit of work to be done for Bradley Holly. Abner Acosta puts at P4 behind his teammate Michael Diaz. Colton Lane on his second lap. He's going to stick dead last, unfortunately, in P17.
Yeah, and I was waiting to see if he had come out yet where Mark Kalin was at, or
and Acosta goes to pole, as you were talking, Terry. Acosta and Sean Campbell, they've been saving their laps for the end. Abner Acosta puts a blinder on us, steals P1, and Sean Campbell still got one more lap.
That is true, but the guy you were talking about still had not come out. The one who was fastest in practice was Liam Sheed. He saved it to the very end. There's Cervantes in the what looks like a Scott Riggs throwback. That's kind of cool. I do enjoy a good black, white, and orange machine. But did you know Mark Kalin got a new nickname this week?
Of course, Bubbles.
No. The Wall Lover.
The Wall Lover? There's another one?
The Wall Lover. Jokes on him. It's because he likes to hit walls. There's the Wall Lover. I think they said they were going to put it on the back of his car, too. It's just going to be the Wall Lover all down the side. That's a new sponsor for him.
He's been the qualifying lover, though, because P3 tonight. He had a great race to Indianapolis last week. He hasn't always had qualifying figured out, but this season in the Xfinity Series, Mark Kalin has really figured things out. Top 3 again for him. It looks like we're not going to see Liam Sheen go out for a qualifying run. I don't know if he's going to start from the back or if he's just not going to participate in the race. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Scotty Healy disallowed from qualifying. This is his second disallowment after the chaos at Monza. And Charles Sumner doing Charles Sumner things as well. He's elected not to qualify. So admin duties, it's already enough for Charles Sumner. He doesn't want to get involved in the fray early on either.
Maybe Liam, with it being his first race, isn't allowed to qualify either.
He's allowed to qualify. He's just elected not to. Probably.
I mean, you were talking about challenging yourself early. I mean, coming driving through the field in Atlanta, especially on the old surface in these Xfinity cars. That's saying something. I mean, he is a Road to Pro competitor, RSR winner. He's got a lot of talent. I mean, he didn't get to 6K iRating just by twiddling his thumbs. But starting that far back, he has to go past Abner Acosta, who's really good. He's got to pass Sean Campbell, who's really good. There's a lot of people to pass.
Speaking of Abner Acosta, on pole for the 52nd time in the Precision Racing League. He's chasing Bradley Holly. He only needs 22 more poles. I say only to catch him for P1 all time. Your championship leader, not anymore. In third in the championship now, Elliott White starts second. Mark Kalin, a great qualifying from him. And there's your real championship leader, Sean Campbell, in a relatively disappointing by Sean Campbell standards, fourth. Bradley Holly topped practice, could get P5 in qualifying. And Michael Diaz, who's really figuring out this whole oval thing, starts in P6. Thomas Sake and Jim Westerfield all Whataback on row 4. And Doug Evans and Jeff Evans, all Evans on row 5. Danny Cervantes starts alongside Jeff Hollingsworth on row 6, and Brandon Walter starts unlucky 13th alongside a driver who made his debut last week, Jacob Fifield. Ryan Travers starts alongside Nick Hunter. He's hoping for some better luck than his brother. Doyle Lawrence and Adam Zemke make up row 9. Jose the Funky Cold Medina, P19, alongside the third Hunter, the unrelated Hunter though, Stacy Hunter, James Dewar, and Colton Lane, the last 2 drivers setting qualifying lap times. Liam Sheen topped practice. Will he be here for the race? We're still waiting. Scotty Healy, P24, after being disallowed from qualifying. And of course, shotgun on the field for Car Ramrod. It is Charles Sumner. His usual thing, just riding back there and hoping some calamity happens ahead.
I mean, it's Atlanta, 108-degree track temp, 81 degrees outside, sun beating down. There's no tanning lotion for this track. It's hot. It's slick. It's not a wonderful day on the beach. It might be a beautiful day in the neighborhood to be somebody's neighbor, but somebody's getting wrecked.
It's such a good feeling to know you're alive if you're Abner Acosta. If we're doing Mr. Rogers, he had a struggle. He had a struggle of a start to the season in both this series and the Cup Series. Now that he's back in the GT4 series as well, but in GT4 he had a little bit of an incident. Had his best race of the season though at Brands Hatch on Monday, and in the Cup Series and in the Xfinity Series, he's put himself back in championship contention. He's been having some great races, and it's just like the old Abner again, starting from pole.
Like he never left. It's like Abner just like knew it. He's like, hey, I'm still here. You guys gave up on me. It's kind of like Bob's Burgers. Everybody gave up on Bob's Burgers until they made the movie. And Bob's Burgers was back being Bob's Burgers.
So unfortunately, looking at the grid, Mr. Lee Machine not getting off the grid. So for all the hype we did, for all the hyping we did of him, he's not here. So unfortunately, but fortunately, we do have the rest of the stars and cars of the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series. 24 drivers on the grid, and they're going to put on a pretty darn good show. It's Precision Racing Esports 1 and 2. It's Pepto-Bismol pink or potted meat pink for Elliott White. It's mustard yellow for Abner Acosta, the most easily differentiable cars in the field. And Abner Acosta, never differentiable from a pole position. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls onto pit road, and for the 52nd time in the PRL, it's Abner Acosta leading us to green. It's very familiar. PRE riding in tow, Acosta and White single file, but Sean Campbell making the high side work early. He clears Mark Kalin.
Yeah, I mean, that he didn't start far back.
Whoa, Danny Cervantes, good save.
He got tapped a little bit, a little damage in the back. That outside's going to be able to work here. You saw back when Atlanta was, actually a racetrack and not a novelty item. You were able to really make passes and be aggressive out there as he goes for the lead. He's to the outside area. He's all the way on the door of Abner Acosta. Abner got a really good run, so it thwarted that one there. But Shaw's not going to give up. And then you got Bradley Holly jumping up there on the outside as well. That's really high for Bradley Holly.
The tire wizard Abner Acosta, never really known for being flashy in the short run, and that may be his strategy right now, hanging back while Sean Campbell rips the top, literally and figuratively. Sean Campbell takes the lead.
And Sean Campbell was like the person that gets a Band-Aid on the hairiest part of your arm, and then they rip it off real quick. He's like, I'm going to go up there, third lane, touch the wall, might high-five it. There. I mean, Bradley Holly's like flirting with it a little bit. He's like, I'm shy. I don't want to go up there. I'll just go to the second lane. And now, let's see what he does. Oh, now he's like full on. All right, we're going to supper. And nope, I'm shy again. There for a second, it looked like he was doing it. He's going to the lead, though. It's that might be the pass. So the 27 washed.
Bradley Holly back to the lead. I think for the first time this season, leading a lap, unless he did it at Indianapolis and I missed it. But Abner Acosta getting swallowed up here. If he is just doing Abner Acosta things and saving his tires, as is Elliott White, as is Michael Diaz, Bradley Holly, Mark Kalin, and Sean Campbell want no business in that. They want the lead early, and they're probably hoping for a caution soon.
Well, the craziest thing was when I talked to some of these drivers, they said that Abner had him covered. They was like, you know who's going to win the race? Abner. It's like, you know who's going to win the pole? Abner. Said he was a 10th up on the field. Well, color me pink and slap me in the mouth, because he's fourth, and they got him by 2/10. Like, I get it. They're probably pushing a little harder here, but 2 laps here is a lot. A lot of your tires. So if you start trying to turn and burn to get up there, you're going to tear them up just as much as everybody else.
Here comes Elliott White. The PRE teammates not working together here for the moment. White to the inside of Acosta. Michael Diaz in the silver Supra behind as well. It was a great qualifying for them. 1 and 2, and Michael Diaz only a little bit further back. And as always, the 3 teammates have found each other a little bit deeper than they would have liked, though.
There's a lot of people that are back in the pack. That doesn't necessarily mean back in the pack. You see Jim Westerfield having a nice ninth place run at the moment as he goes to the outside here on Jeff Hollingsworth. And now he's going to try to work with Jeff Evans in the always wonderful Miracle Flow machines. Not biased. I do like the shampoo. Really so.
They were running some special paint schemes last week at Indianapolis, but they're back to the old normals. I'm seeing bright green, bright magenta. They're far easier to pick out this time. Jeff Hollingsworth and Jim Westerfield, they want to pick out Jeff Evans out of 8th place right now, but they're too busy fighting with each other. Westerfield falls to 9th. A little bit of a drift from Hollingsworth.
Yeah, he was able to slide right in front there. So the fact that he made that pass there on Jim Westerfield, pulled the bottom. This is what's going to be very interesting is they're not running this like you would see traditional Atlanta be ran. Most of the time, that bottom lane was the most dominant lane you could find. You were able to just straddle that line, straddle that white line all the way down there to the bottom. You would never have an issue here. You would be able to save a little bit more tire, be able to do a little bit more. You're seeing these drivers second groove, third groove, second and a half groove. They're taking every little bit of opportunity they have to put themselves in a better position to win. And early on, I mean, if we get a caution with, I would say, 25 minutes to go, maybe even 30 minutes, they might pick their only time.
Bad news for fans of Jacob Fifield. He has, unfortunately, as many drivers do, come under the fire of the internet gods. He was having a decent run in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, his internet had other ideas. Jacob Fifield has been disconnected from the session. James O'Brien also had some internet issues. He couldn't even get into the field at all tonight, which is going to be disappointing for him. He was having a pretty good run this season, and he wanted to represent private label Team Hype as their team is kind of fallen apart over the course of this season. We don't see Trent Dinkle much on Wednesday nights anymore. James O'Brien off with internet issues. It's up to Brandon Walter to represent them. He's representing them pretty well as he passes Doug Evans.
That he does. And you got this battle going on back here between Cervantes, and that would be the other Hunter, our brother from another mother Hunter. Even though we're technically Hunters by association, still our brother. We have no choice but to support here, as that 109 machine does not want to end up like the other Hunter. Awesome. And then our other brother, Stacy, chilling, vibing in 17th.
I don't know how I never put 2 and 2 together here, but we see Stacy Hunter and we see Doyle Lawrence. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, how similar those ride and shotgun motorsports paint schemes are. We always see them in different contexts. They're not always near each other on track, and now that I finally see them next to each other, yeah, there's some team synergy there. Not much team synergy here, though, as Hunter and Cervantes are still side by side. Whataback teammates going to Civil War. Colton Lane trying to knock the wall down, and Scotty Healy in the middle of it all, just minding his own business.
Colton's probably banging his head against the wall because Tennessee lost to Vanderbilt. Of all things, Vanderbilt in basketball today by 1 point. Just blow the SEC to pieces in basketball. It's been a down year, but having a good run here. Old Cervantes on the bottom, not necessarily living up to where we thought he would be, as almost makes contact there with the outside of Scott Healy in the 64. That would have been pretty big, because you got those two drivers are in front of, well, half the field. So this is a place you could block it up real fast, and, well, almost saw that.
The Tire Wizard is starting to do Tire Wizard things up front. Mark Kalin stole third early on, ripped the top, but 8 minutes into this race, the Mark Kalin tires have fallen apart. Mr. Wall, or whatever you called him, Bubbles, the bubble has popped. He's down to fourth. Abner Acosta is now challenging for the lead.
Oh, Bubbles the Wall lover. That one's sticking. Bubbles the Wall. That's good.
Bubba the Wall Sponge.
Yeah, Bubba the Wall Sponge. That's what we call him here. Yeah, Abner's to the bottom of Bradley Holly. Holly's still ripping that outside. I mean, that line's going to tear them things to shreds. But hey, he gets to run down the back straightaway. He makes it work. He probably did a ton of practice up there. Now he goes to the bottom, little shallow entry. He gets there. He's able to hold it. Nothing. But look at that speed from center off. He's able to get on the gas so much quicker. He gets to the back bumper, down to the door. He's ready to make the pass for the lead.
This is for a pretty big number here for Abner Acosta. If he wins tonight, he's been tied with Richard Regan Jr. for a couple of weeks on 53 wins. If he wins tonight, he's second all-time, all on his lonesome on 54. Right behind who else but the driver he's racing for this win, Bradley Holly. They're separated by about 60 wins. Holly would like it to be one more win wider. He's struggling, though. Those tires are falling off, and Abner Acosta is going to be clear off of 4.
With that Post Malone song, Ooh, I Fall Apart, that's what these tires have done. Before we go old school, they cut themselves into pieces. Was their last race at Atlanta. Knee slappers here on Wednesday. They're screaming for a caution. Every one of these drivers are ready for one. There's not one driver here that's other than Abner and maybe Sean Campbell that's like, yep, I want this thing to stay green for a long time. Nope. 10, 15 laps on these tires, you're ready for a caution. You're ready to recycle and get off of them. But if we get a caution now, you pit, 20 minutes to go, potentially more, you just go green to the end.
Judging by how separated everybody is right now, I'd be surprised if we actually got a caution, because the field is basically one by one by one by one as far back as you can look. It's about to change, though, because Sean Campbell, he might have used up his stuff early as well, but I think he may have used it a little bit less than Bradley Holly. He's challenging for second, and then you see the secondary tire wizard a little bit further back, Elliott White, who's going to be the real challenge for both of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, once they get side by side, you'll start to see the air move the cars back and forth. If Bradley Holly challenges down here on the bottom, if he pinches the door, you might see him kind of bring back, pull a little bit of the side draft out here in Atlanta. Down the back, he'll get right on the door. They're both wiggling. They're both screaming loose. I don't think it matters which one does what. They're both just really, really loose at the moment. Now it's up to Elliott White. So how do you pick your way through this? You have drivers that are sideways through the corner, sideways off the exit. It's going to be a difficult option. Does he want to go into the third line, or does he want to try to rip that thing on the bottom? He's got a whole lane and a half to do it.
Off of turn 2, Holly still is trying to ride the wall. I think Sean Campbell, nope, not clear of him this time. The Zoom brigade here. We always see Bradley Holly and Sean Campbell, two very different backgrounds. Bradley Holly, kind of made for TV. Sean Campbell, it's just his room in a basement, I think. Hopefully we'll see both of them tonight. Either way, two different setups. Still, they're locked side by side for second.
One has a bowl. I care about the bowl. I think we should have a weekly segment of the bowl in the room there, of what's in the bowl.
I think we should too. Sean Campbell, he's missing a nickname. We just call him Sean Campbell. Nick McLaughlin was talking about Sean ruining the neighborhood when he comes into the F3 series jokingly, so I was thinking Sean Gentrification Campbell, but that's a little bit too long.
Just if it sticks, it sticks, though. It's like a bubble gum to your shoe. You know, you don't want it there, but you know, it's stuck, so you might as well keep it.
Sometimes drivers just earn their nicknames. Sometimes you earn your bits. You earn Where in the World is Kevin Sandiego. You earn Jose the Funky Cold Medina. You earn Paul Crumry. Sometimes maybe we need to give Sean Campbell a little bit more time.
Yeah, he kind of had to like drive into it. I tell you who's driving into it. It's the 27. They're all loose. Now we're in the part of the race where who's the least loose? You know, who can hold it where? I mean, 1.2 seconds is what Abner's pulled away because they have been 2 wide and 3 wide for second ever since he got past for the lead. And now we finally go single file. I think Sean Campbell realized that he couldn't necessarily make that pass work because Bradley Holly's not going to roll over. If I was him, I mean, I'd imagine you're going to pit once here, unless a caution comes out. Then you'll pit twice. But I'd imagine if you're going to pit, what was the race, 40 minutes?
50 minutes.
50 minutes? pit 25 minutes to go. Go dead smack dab in the middle.
As always, we've had such a clean season this season. The Truck Series, they've had their troubles in some weeks, but in the Cup Series and in the Xfinity Series, we've had so many long green flag runs. We've had so many alternate strategies, so many chances at green flag pit stops. These guys have been very, very clean and very, very tidy, and it's led to some very interesting strategies. We've still got to wait a little while longer, I think, for this strategy to kick off. We're only 14 minutes into this race now. It's probably felt like an eternity behind the wheel, though.
Yeah, mark that down, chat people. 25 minutes in this race. Pit stops happen for the top, I'll say the top 10, all the way back to Old Islingsworth. That's when we'll see it, unless a caution comes out. Caution comes out, that strategy's out the window. You're pitting instantly, and then if another caution comes out, obviously within 15 laps, you'll hit again. You have plenty of sets of tires. You really have to worry about it. But if we stay green, 25 minutes to go, you're going to see a whole host of people. Even though they're loose, they'll push it all the way out 10 more minutes.
Maybe we should just pretend that this race for second is the race for the lead, because that would be a pretty good race for the lead.
It would. I mean, Abner, if you're listening, slow down. You don't always have to, run away from the field. They don't have cooties or nothing. I mean, every time he takes the lead, he drives away. What's the point? Abner, make it fun. Make it fun and fair for everybody. Their wins matter too.
It's like every single one of these drivers is blocked off in some way. Sean Campbell and Elliott White, they're probably both faster than Bradley Holly. Elliott White's probably faster than Sean Campbell, but every single time we see them fan out 3 wide into turn 3. This time, not so much. This time, Sean Campbell has to kind of back out of it, but every single time, they're just dead even. Elliott White may have broken up the monotony, though. He may get to the inside of Campbell here. Campbell's in the wall, and that's exactly what Elliott White needed to get into second, but Campbell's still trying to make the middle work.
They're just going wherever the other one's not. Oh, Bradley. Oh, man. I've seen 2 or 3 people smack the wall off of 2. A couple people smack the wall off of 4. People sliding all throughout the corner. At one point in time, it was a 4-wheel drift coming out of the corner for, I think it was back about 11th or 12th. I had drifted. Look at this. Just watch this corner. Oh, I was hoping we'd steal that shot. Oh, Bradley Holly, stay out of the wall.
Rosemary Custom Homes, number 184. Sean Campbell finds a home to the inside as Bradley Holly using every little bit of real estate he can get at Atlanta. Doesn't work for him, though. Elliott White, 2 cars and 2 laps. He's up into second now. His teammate is 2 seconds further up the road, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, and he burned up a lot there, too. If you're the 27, you had to have gotten around the 180, the 184 and the 26 a little bit earlier than that. I mean, he had to work harder than I think even he figured that he would have to work to get that pass done and secured for him to go to the bottom to the top. And now you have to look at gap management if you're the 5. Do you necessarily want to throw burners down? If you're the 27, you kind of can't. I mean, you just can't. If you go out there and throw burners down, by the time you pit, well, Abner's already going to be on pit road. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the first one as this battle continues to go on. Now it's for the 3rd place position.
Campbell not leaving him any room, and Bradley Holly did hit the wall that time. We finally see him even lower than he was last week, remarkably. But Campbell was not going to give him an inch, and Bradley Holly found the end of the inches.
Bet he wants to punch Nicolas Cage in the face right now. He just looks mad. Look at him. Oh, I mean, last week he said a no-no word. This week he just looked like Mr. Grinch.
He actually turned the lights on this week, at least.
He did. I mean, it's not the Motel 6. You don't leave a light on anymore. Have you seen the price of the electric bill?
He was getting so close to the wall again there. He didn't hit it that time through 1 and 2, but as the tires age, as he creeps up and up and up and up, I have to imagine that's not going to be the last time we see somebody get into the wall, as Jim Westerfield has gotten into the inside wall. He's the first driver to truly lose it. He's going to fall to the back of the field here with some heavy damage to the Leroy's number 35.
Palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms were heavy, and then he hit the wall harder than mom's spaghetti. You had an Eminem reference. I get at least one. I'll take mine there. Oh, we got help.
A little bit of an argument.
Oh. That was more of a drive-by. I wouldn't know if that's an argument. That was a pop, pop, pop done, son.
That's a kind of an argument.
I mean, it's a one-sided
It's a one-way argument, but,
it's a one-way argument.
I have those all the time.
With yourself or with people?
In the shower.
Oh, okay. No, you're not going to spend money today.
Jeff Evans to the outside of Michael Diaz. Michael, I really thought he was going to go join his teammates up there in the tire saving world, but he's actually been shown up by some Whataback guys. Thomas Sink and Jeff Evans. They've shown some great long run pace here. Old Jeff didn't look at him for quite a while. The magenta car kind of faded into obscurity, and now it's back and it's looking forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's been helping me on the roadside, and now that work has kind of gotten even more ignorant than before, I don't have time for the IRL4 practice, and that is not a league, and that is not a series that you don't practice for. That is no. I mean, if I wanted to embarrass myself on Thursdays by not practicing, well, I would run Thursday nights in the IRL4 and embarrass myself with no practice. But Jeff is a really good road racer, and a lot of people take that and don't believe me when I say it. No, the guy can sling around there. You know who else can sling? The 64, Scott Healy. He was all the way back in 17th to start this race. He's up to 9th.
He's saving his stuff. Scotty Healy, another one of those drivers. He kind of falls by the wayside. This happened at Indianapolis too. We didn't really think about him. We just thought, that's what Scotty Healy's going to run. He's just going to ride a little bit further back. But no, he has been saving pace. He is much quicker than the runs have shown. And as we enter into the 20th minute of this run, he's showing up half the field here on long run pace, and he's certainly putting the fear of God into Mark Kalin.
You know what just put the fear of God into me? There was a raccoon at my window. A whole raccoon sitting at my window that tries to eat the food that may or may not sit on a front porch over here. And it just scared me. I looked over, you were talking, raccoon, just staring right at me. And I wanted to catch it, but I'm on a broadcast for RaceSpot. I mean, I probably would have got mauled by one, but big deal. I'd have a pet raccoon.
Scotty Healy might need to turn off his aerial numbers before next week. We'll get that taken care of, but he's still working on taking care of Mark Kalin. For as old as these tires are, for as destroyed as Mr. Bubbles' tires are, he's still hanging on pretty well on the outside. This is not an easy fight for Scott Healy.
No, it's not. Oh, Bubbles. But yeah, Scott still got old tires too. I mean, he's having to drive. He has had to drive, not drove. I'm an idiot. He had to drive through the field too, and he's put a lot of wear and tear on him. What did we call him? Bubbles the wall sponge.
Bubbles the wall sponge versus Scotty Healy. As always, Scotty Healy's going to end up winning that. Front man to the front of that 8th place battle. Next up in his list is Mr. Michael Diaz. As all this has been going on, kind of in the shadows, in the sneaky world, Elliott White has been bringing that gap down to Abner Acosta. He's been consistently faster every single lap. Not by much. It's usually only by a tenth or half a tenth, but he is faster.
Yeah, I mean, a tenth goes a long way here at this racetrack. It's, if you can bring a 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths down before, pit stops start to ensue, well, that makes your chances just a little bit better. And if I have to bring the Scott Steiner math back out to explain, math, I will. I'm kind of tired. I don't know if anybody could tell, but this is something that I'll never get tired of seeing. A Thomas Sink, Bradley Holly fight, or a Danny Cervantes and our brother Nicholas Hunter battle.
The Whataback drivers can't stay away from each other so far tonight. They're just addicted to sticking with each other. Doug Evans, currently in unlucky 13th. He's found his teammates. Here comes Scotty Healy. His charge forward continues, and just as easy as it was on Mark Kalin. It was much easier with Michael Diaz. He gets to the outside, he clears him, he's up into 7th.
I had just queued up and said, "Hey, dog, I'm faster than you. Can I go?" And he's probably, "Yeah, sure, bud. Yeah, you're one of my best friends."
I don't think that's what Michael Diaz would do.
Listen, potentially, as my strategy starts to unravel in front of my eyes, he was not in the top 10. So in 1 minute's time, you're going to see people in the top 10 start to pit.
Strategery has begun. Jeff Evans is in. Danny Cervantes is in. Adam Zemke is in. And the gap between Abner Acosta and Elliott White has come down below a second. It's all kicking off here as we reach the halfway point. Here is Jeff Evans in the 51. Sink and Holly are going to stay out. It's not all the Whataback drivers in. Doyle Lawrence is in. 4 drivers from 4 different teams, kind of all doing their own thing.
Well, Jeff might be listening to the broadcast. 25 minutes. Pit. There you go. I mean, it's funny because here we go. Whataback's listening. My teammates out there. Oh, hang on to her, Bubbles.
That very well could have been a speeding penalty for Mark Kalin. We'll have to wait until he gets into his box. That would be...
Speedy Bubbles.
That would be tragic.
Speedy the wall sponge.
Here comes Mark Kalin. Is Abner Acosta going to come in this time? The Abner way, the Abner meta usually is to go as long as possible. He's never the driver who comes in first. His teammate Elliott White is, but is he about to get a speeding penalty for that as well? I'm looking at Mark Kalin right now, who's still in his box. I'm waiting to see if Mark Kalin got a penalty. I don't think he did. No, Mark Kalin is fine, so that tells me Elliott White might be fine. But pit entry at Atlanta, it's proven very difficult.
Oh yeah, that's getting every single inch out of your entrance, and now we'll see. Abner was losing quite a bit. Here he comes. Is he gonna send it? No, he took a more conservative approach. Wasn't expecting that.
Abner Acosta's in. Sean Campbell is in. Sean Campbell lost about 3 seconds on the last lap before he pitted. I think he may have actually missed pit road that last time around, but he finally makes it this time. Scotty Healy's in. Brandon Walters in. Basically, the entirety of the rest of the field is in. Stacey Hunter's going to stay out and hope for a caution. We saw Bradley Holly up on the top of our screen. Now we wait for everything to cycle out. Is 1 lap of undercut going to be enough for Elliott White?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it most definitely will be. That 1 lap is huge. It's absolutely huge. And you see here is up, past, and past.
There it is.
Yeah, it was a matter of time, and it'll be a substantial chunk too. I mean, Abner is 2 seconds back now, 3 seconds back. Yeah, so 2.3 seconds back at the moment.
Big flip between the 2 teammates, and Bradley Holly has actually split the 2 teammates. Bradley Holly is up into 2nd after coming in 3 laps earlier than Abner Acosta. The undercut has worked 2 ways for Abner Acosta, and just like last week at Indianapolis, a dominant run has just become much more difficult. He's got 2 drivers to pass, and even more in terms of lap cars.
I'm just rather impressed that everybody listened to my strategy. 25 was the way to go, split it directly in half, especially at a place like this. You know, back end, front end, doesn't matter. You're going to be miserable the whole time because the tires are going to be, you know, just cheeks all the way through. But this is a good strategy. I mean, you undercut it by about a lap, which was, you know, 32-ish seconds around here. You were able to pull the cut. And now what you're hoping for is that if a caution does come out, to equal this playing field here of the 1 lap, 2 lap strategy, that you have that opportunity back. If you're Colton Lane, you're throwing caution to the wind. I mean, you're doing whatever you got to do here. So I mean, you see the 60 still holding this lead. It's 1.7 seconds. It's dropping really, really quick. Caution comes out now. He's in the catbird seat here.
And Colton Lane has about 1 lap for that caution to come out because he's currently running 2.5 seconds slower than our leader, Elliott White, who is now within 0.2 of a second of him. And there goes Elliott White to the lead. Colton Lane comes into the pits. His pit strategy has finally come to an end. The caution didn't come. Everybody has now pitted with minimal issues. James Dewar got into a little bit of trouble on pit entry. Michael Diaz, I think, got a speeding penalty or got some damage. He's gone 2 laps down. Everybody else, no trouble, even with the scary moments for White and Kalen. We are back to normal. Things have cycled back out. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. Brandon Walter and fighting over P12.
I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of this Applebee's game. I don't know if Adam Zemke understands that for my birthday, my wife wanted to pick where we went instead of letting me pick where we went. She's craving Applebee's. She's like, I'll take you to dinner, and I hope you say Applebee's. She just wanted the nachos. It's like, it's my birthday. Okay, I pick. We went to a steakhouse instead and spent a lot of money for no reason.
Yeah. And Brandon Walter's taking him to Gapplebee's.
Yes, he is. I mean, we should have went to Applebee's. They have really good nachos. Not as good as Cheddar's, but they're really good nachos.
Charles Sumner has still not pitted. He's still out there. He's not giving up on this strategy, but he has now fallen to P12. He's now going to fall to P13 as his teammate Adam Zemke gets by him, and he's forced to stay out for yet another lap. So these fuel tanks can go pretty long. Unfortunately for Charles Sumner, I think he's going to be like 2 laps down by the time he finally comes in.
He's squeezing the last little bit out of that Tropicana orange. Doing everything he can here. I'm not a fan of the strategy, but if Charles Sumner wants to do it, Charles Sumner can do whatever Charles Sumner wants to do.
It's a bad day to be a driver named Field. Jim Westerfield, Jacob Fife Field, they're both out, and Doyle Lawrence has actually joined the fray as well. I think he got into a little bit of trouble coming into the pits. He's out of the race. Scotty Healy, though, picking up on lost time, making some passes he needs to remake around the outside of Danny Cervantes. Easy stuff for Scott Healy.
Last time by, Healy put a 32.4 down. It's a little bit off of his best lap that he had put on the racetrack, but still pretty good. What I'm interested in is the fact that Abner hasn't gained any time on Brad. He lost time on Bradley Holly. He's lost time to Elliott White. I mean, he's faster, but it's not like he's gaining it in tons. It's like he's catching it slowly, slower and slower each lap. He's closing it in.
It's only been 8 laps into the stint for Abner Acosta, so there's still plenty of time, still plenty time to do tire wizard things, plenty more saving to do. Thomas Sink isn't actually racing any of these guys for position. He's just in a hornet's nest of lapped cars here with Stacy Hunter, Ryan Traver, Michael Diaz, Colton Lane, a few others. Thomas Sink has somehow found himself in the middle of every single lapped car on the track.
Welcome to Green Flag Pit Stops at Atlanta. And crazy enough, we only have 18 minutes to go. We might be done by 10:30.
Well, we're guaranteed to be done by 10:30 every night because of the time requirements. New for the PRL this season, 40 minutes and 50 minutes. These races don't go to laps anymore this season, for those of you who haven't been with us in the first couple of weeks. Once the clock ends, the race ends. There's no green-white checker. There's none of that. 40 minutes in the Truck Series, race is over. 50 minutes in the Xfinity Series, race is over. So we are racing against the clock here. It has run very much like a normal lap race here, with drivers splitting things into 2. And Abner Acosta moves into position number 2. He's finally passed Bradley Holly for second.
He did that on the bottom, too. That was not surprising. He was able to jump to the bottom and then washed his way back to the high side and get in front of Brad there. This is falling into his shoes. I mean, if we get a caution, this might play dividends here for Abner. But Elliott was just a tick better than him on the long.
That was your fault, Terry.
I did it. Sorry. Whatever. It's perfect.
The caution is out at Atlanta for the first time. Who was it? It looks like it was Danny Cervantes who brings the caution out here for the first time. Here it is through turns 3 and 4. That's Hollingsworth behind him. Got some help.
Well. I have a little beef over here, too. We needed this. This is massive. This changed the whole complexion of the race.
I was starting to get flashbacks to Sunday night at Iowa when Abner Acosta led the whole first stint in the Cup Series on Sunday. But once the pit cycle came around, he lost the lead to Matthew Long, and then he spent his tires so much trying to chase Long that he couldn't catch him. He burnt his stuff off. He finished second, and it looked like he was going to do the same thing with Elliott White there, but suddenly things have equalized here. It becomes a far shorter run. By the time we restart, it'll be 12 minutes to go or so, I think. That's going to add up to 24 laps, which is still a pretty long run, but compared to what we would have had here running green to the end of the race, it's going to be shorter. You're going to have to rethink your strategies.
Well, if you don't pit, that's not smart. You only got to pit. Everybody. Lottie-dottie, everybody. And they do. But I think this plays into Bradley Howley's hands. I know I said at the top of the show I don't think he wins this season, but 12 minutes. He's been the fastest on the short run. As much as I trust Abner, I don't trust that Abner can go fast in a short period of time. Like, I feel like he doesn't know how to push it necessarily. Like I said, as much as I love Abner Acosta, I had never had to see him force the issue in that car. We've never seen him in the trucks. We've never seen him in this Xfinity car have to actually give a shootout type performance, like a walk-off home run to win a race. He's always won it on the long run.
I think last week at Indianapolis would probably disagree, but we'll check the data there. Nothing really changed off of pit road here. Sean Campbell, I think he won one spot over Scotty Healy. I think Mark Kalin was the biggest loser, but not much has changed. Like you said, though, the situation has changed for Abner Acosta. He was going to have a challenge chasing Elliott White in the long run, but he might just have even more of a challenge chasing him on the long run here. We know they're going to or on the short run here. We know they're going to organize on the restart. We know the two teammates are going to do their best work to keep Bradley Howley out of the equation and get a good restart. But after that, you still got to pass your teammate to win the race.
I'm not counting last week as a short run, home run hitting, because Sean Campbell was not on equal tires. Like, that was not an equal fight. That was not a heads up, you're both on 4 tires, beat me in a short run. Beat me in this span. Beat me when you push it to the very limit. It took him a while to pass him. And it took him using those 4 fresh tires to get to the bottom to do it. If Sean Campbell had 4 fresh tires last week and he sat on the front row, Sean Campbell wins that race. I will debate that with anybody. I'll debate that with Abner. Like I said, as much as I love Abner Acosta, I do not think in this race right here or in the season in general that if you have 4 fresh tires in front of Abner, I'm taking the driver who's sitting P1 on 4 fresh tires. Like, right at the moment, I would take the 184 right now head-to-head. 101 with Elliott White is the race leader. That out of the 2 that might be able to pass him, I think the 184 does it.
I'm doing some maths in my head here, and I'm thinking that if positions stay as they are, Elliott White and Sean Campbell would either be separated by 1 point in the championship or they'd be tied in the lead of the championship, and Abner Acosta would be also only 2 or 3 points behind. So in this championship, in this series, and in the PRL in general this season, we haven't really seen anybody running away with any championships. I guess you could say Reese Bogue in the Truck Series, he's had a pretty good run of things. Matthew Long in the Cup Series as well, but in this Xfinity Series, it is truly a 3-way battle, and these guys are inseparable.
And right now, it's going to be even more ferocious because you think about the aggressive nature that a lot of these drivers have. I mean, I expect to see Sean Campbell dirt tracking that outside here on this restart. I would be surprised if I didn't see Mark Kalin dirt tracking it right behind him, or Scott Healy doing something down there on the bottom, maybe working his way underneath Jeff Evans. There's a lot of drivers in this top 10 that would love to have a win here at Atlanta.
Here we go. For the first time tonight, it's a different driver. It's not Abner Acosta at the head of the field. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls off. Elliott White leads us to green at Old Lana. And not much organization there between the two teammates. Normally you see the lead driver pull forward a little bit, Abner get back in line. It worked eventually there, but that didn't look like two teammates who were working together on the restart.
Yeah, you got to remember, I don't think Abner's actually in the chat with them. I don't think, I think they said Abner does not work with them. You know, he's there in spirit, but he's in a total different Discord. They don't know what each other's doing. I doubt they know each other's strategy. I think their goal every single week is to beat the other driver.
Sean Campbell beats Thomas Sink off of turn 4. That's a combination I don't think we've said once this season. Sean Campbell versus Thomas Sink. It's a very interesting battle, and it's gotten less interesting because he's pulled forward into 4th. There's been some trouble at the back of the field. Jose the Funky Cold Medina hard into the wall. Nicholas Hunter nowhere to go. I think Ryan Traver may have been involved as well. Michael Diaz has damage. Caution's back out. Michael Diaz, there he is. Danny Cervantes. Charles Sumner parks it up. Huge drama.
I didn't jinx it that time. No, I didn't do it. That wasn't me this time.
Do you pit again now? Well, here it is first. Here's the short term first.
Oh, Danny.
Oh, Danny. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from wall to wall. Nothing Jose Medina could have done there.
Oh, gosh. The age-old question of does you pit? Well, let me put my infinite wisdom hat on. I think if you're Thomas Sink, we'll see here. Nobody accepts. Scotty Healy?
Hmm?
No. Zemke? Lane? Somebody?
Zemke and Lane, they look like the only two takers. Healy and Walter, they tricked our data there. They were on pit lane and they swerved out of the last second.
Did Zemke in the 57 get involved in that? I know Colton Lane missed it, but did Zemke miss that? Because you got, Medina was in it. Cervantes was in it. I think the 60 and the 57 missed it. But, I mean, 5 laps, 3 under green is massive. You saw that with what Abner was doing. It's a lot of traffic to pass. But, I mean, you got 8 minutes to go. You'll have about 6, 7 when we go back green. If we take the one to go here, which I don't think we will, but I mean, I like it. Colton Lane and Zemke really wasn't contending for a top 10. It at least gets him to the top 10. I think it gets him to the top 10 comfortably. But if we get another caution, you got to pit. I feel like it's if you want a shot to win this, 5th on back has to pit.
Well, I'm thinking if we get another caution, that might be the end of the race because we didn't take one to go there. We'll take one to go the next time around.
It will be.
So, yeah, if we take one to go the next time around, that'll be, do the math in my head,
carry the 2.
4 minutes 30 to go, which means we may get lucky and get like a 1 lap run to the end, but we're definitely not hoping for another caution. Sean Campbell has just showed up in our interview channel, so we got time. The lights aren't out in the pace car yet. Sean Campbell, how are you going to do on this short run?
I don't know, but we got ourselves a shootout.
And why didn't you turn your Zoom on this week?
I just don't want to, man.
Too many bowls in the background?
Is there a bowl?
No. Actually, not enough. There are 0.
Damn.
I brought something up. I had chicken and dumplings today. They're great.
I was just about to ask what you had for dinner.
Take forever, though, man.
So don't entirely show your hand here, but as we said, it's going to be a shootout once we do restart here. Something like 8-9 laps to go. What's the strategy? Are you going to the top again? Are you riding the bottom? Is it worth saving anything?
I don't know. I do not know. I think Bradley had the right idea at the start of the race, but because running the top, I think, is a little bit faster, and I think it's easier to defend when you have fresh tires when you're on the top. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna try. Strategy is be ahead of everybody when the checkered flag comes out. Hopefully,
that is
probably
always
not
a good
gonna
strategy.
work though. Probably not gonna work though. Everybody's really fast.
I'm trying to remember. There's a quote from somebody who said, "The way I want to have my season is I want to win every race." It's like that's a good strategy to follow. But we'll let you get back to your own devices here. The restart's coming up soon. We'll have about 10 laps to go. I would say good luck, but that would be biased. So any luck.
Bad luck.
Sean Campbell will restart P4, kicking him out of the booth here. Elliott White, Abner Acosta, Bradley Holly, and Sean Campbell. It's going to be a battle of the titans in this race. All 4 of those drivers, if I'm thinking correctly, have led laps so far tonight. And then behind them sits the underdog, Thomas Sink. Can't really catch him or count him out if potentially something comes to blows up front here. But it's going to be a short run to the end. If we do get a caution here, if it's early, we may get a 1-lap shootout to the end, but the next flag may just end this race, so these drivers know it is crunch time to the end here. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls off for hopefully the final time. Elliott White retakes control of the field. His teammate Abner Acosta to his outside. We're green again in Atlanta.
Spun the wheels there. Brad got a really good jump there in the 3rd place position. He's going to be side by side with Abner into 1. The bottom's going to prevail for a second. It ain't going to prevail for long. 5 comes roaring back.
This is exactly what Elliott White wants to see. Everybody behind him fighting over second. Well, he can just ride off into the sunset, but through 3 and 4, Abner stronger on the outside. Mark Kalin trying to rip the outside as well. Where did he come from? And here comes Sean Campbell with the momentum. Gets blocked off, though. Nowhere for Sean Campbell to go except the inside now.
He jumps to the inside, but you talked to Sean Campbell, and he said that the outside was the way to go. And now Brad's back up there, high, wide, and handsome, doing a really good job. Down the back straightaway, he's going to get the toe off the 5. Won't have a lot of help from Sean Campbell because Campbell's not going to push him here. This is going to be interesting to see. Do we see a battle between the 5 and the 27 here in just a little bit? Because if we do, does that let Campbell and Holly and Kalin and Sink get in this battle and try to mix it up and make it a 6-car terrain?
Well, here comes Abner Acosta into turn 1. He's gotten to the back of Elliott White now. Elliott had a great jump, but Abner has brought that gap down. Off of 2, though. A little bit of a narrower line for Abner, a little bit of a wider line for Elliott White. White's got the momentum down the back straight, and here comes Bradley Holly, the outside for second.
Yeah, he's going to make this a fight with Abner. He's not going to let him get away. He's driving that thing like a really angry person. Like, I mean, you don't see this kind of aggression out of Brad, and he's doing it. I mean, he's what we saw out of Steve. He gets him. Yeah, he's the aggression I'm talking about.
That actually helped Abner a little bit. It got him back on course to have a little bit of a narrower exit there. Brad was just helping his buddy out there.
Yeah, he crushing it, man. I mean, it helped him get a little straighter. It helped him rotate the corner just a little bit better. But this is the Brad. This is the Brad we were looking for. I mean, this is like legit the same thing we talked about in the truck series with Steve. It's just wake up. You just remember who you are. You're the most winningest driver in the PRL. Where is it? Oh, he's in the wall. That's where he's at.
Sean Campbell now gets to the inside as Bradley Holly finally gets too high. He finally gets into the wall. Campbell gives him a hip check for good measure. I think he may have just put Bradley Holly into the wall again. Campbell takes 3rd, but Brad's not going to be too happy about that. It's a good thing we weren't looking at his camera.
Yeah, I almost got in trouble for my lip reading experience last week. while it was funny. And, all the bleeps. Yeah, just bam. Ooh.
Wall.
Yeah. Ouch. And here we go. I mean, we got 2 minutes to go. What's that equal out to? 4 laps?
Should be 4 or 5 laps to go at the line here. I'll watch the clock here. Yes, we'll be 4 laps to go because laps are about 32 seconds long. You do the math. Either way, Abner Acosta knows time is running out here. The laps and the miles are in single digits. This is as close as he's been to his teammate, though.
Yeah, it's been a distance about 1.2, 1.3. longer run. I mean, we're 15 laps in this stint. Here he is. He doesn't fire off. He doesn't fire off in that first 5 really strong. It takes him 10 or 15 laps to get it all in. The other person, let them burn their stuff up quite a bit. And I'm not saying he's not fast. I'm just saying, he has never had to necessarily go up here and win the race in a 5-lap dash and just...
Here he comes.
He's there.
Abner Acosta to the inside of his teammate into 3 and 4. White's not going to leave him any room. He's going to squeeze as much as he can. But is it a foregone conclusion? White on the outside holds the momentum, holds the lead. But Abner Acosta is there. 2 laps to go.
It's traditional lemonade versus pink lemonade for the win in the Peach State. What drama unfolds as the 5 goes to the bottom? Not going to work there in 1 and 2. Great drone cam looking work here from Hugo. And for 3 and 4, coming to see the white flag with the pink and the yellow. Great time.
Abner's treating this place like a road course. He's trying to go for the switchbacks. He's trying to find the inside, the outside, but Elliott White takes the white flag here. The 2 Precision Racing Esports teammates, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, will be 1st and 2nd after tonight if they don't come to blows. Here comes Abner Acosta off of turn 2. He's got a little bit of a run. Is it enough? Is he going to send it to the inside of his teammate through 3 and 4? He's not going to be close enough to really do it. He's going to think about it. He's going to peek to the inside, but he can't force his teammate Elliott White into a mistake. Off of turn 4, White goes high. Abner's low. He's got the run, but coming to the line, Elliott White wins at Atlanta and beats his teammate. But what a battle to the end of that race. And Elliott White and Abner Acosta might just take the lead to the championship after tonight.
6/100ths of a second separated that win. The runoff before for Abner was redonkulous. I mean, that was the run with
Mr. Bubbles, the wall sponge, has to get involved.
The old sponge. Here to get it again. Everybody's having a little fun. I think old Cervantes. Oh man. Everybody's wanting to wreck each other here. Look at that. Look at the slide. Woo, what a burnout.
I think that tells you how destroyed those tires already were in that short run. But Elliott White, a very deserved burnout once again this season. Back on Wednesday nights in the PRL, and he has just been absolutely incredible. He's been great on Tuesday nights in the GT3 series when he's been competing there, competing on the NASCAR side as well. Elliott White wins once more. I'm going to check what his total win number is when I can, but it is slowly increasing as he's just been racking things up here on Wednesdays and on Tuesdays. Abner Acosta, he has to wait another week or maybe until Sunday to beat Richard Regan Jr. to 2nd, and Thomas Sink stole 3rd at the end from Sean Campbell. Kind of surprising there. Mark Kalin, top 5 for him, good result. Jeff Evans right behind him. Brandon Walter brings private label Team Hype's only entry into 7th. Scotty Healy had some great speed in 8th. And Bradley Holly, not going to be too happy with Sean Campbell, falls to 9th in the end. Ahead of Jeff Hollingsworth, that rounds out the top 10. Doug Evans, P11. Colton Lane pitted for tires, didn't work for him, P12. Charles Sumner, unlucky 13th, alongside his teammate Adam Zemke. Danny Cervantes, Stacy Hunter, Nicholas Hunter, and Jose the Funky Cole Medina round out the lead lap cars. James Dewar got a couple of wave rounds. He only ended up 1 lap down after all that. And Ryan Traver, with some heavy damage, ended up 1 lap down. Then we get into the used car lot. Heavy damage. Michael Diaz, Doyle Lawrence, Jim Westerfield, and Jacob Fifield. 24 cars in the field, and others. Gonna wait a few moments here for Elliott White and Abner Acosta. They always like to take their precious time, but while we wait for them, we have a guy who I think just finished in the top 5 for the first time this season. If my thinking is correct here, I'm going to check the stats just to make sure. It's his 2nd top 5 of the season, but he gets to talk to Terry either way.
We have a new nickname for you. Mark Kalin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's that?
Your Bubbles the Wall Sponge.
Bubbles the Wall Sponge. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's your new name. Since you're in our team server, you're the wall lover. You're now Bubbles the Wall Sponge. That will be what we address you as.
Well, if that leads to more top fives like tonight, then I'm all for it.
See, we're here to bring you good luck and good nicknames. By the way, I'm enjoying the new. Is that a new piece of NASCAR memorabilia back there from the legend himself, the man on the Dale Jr. download today, Sterling Marlin?
It is. It is a replica hood signed by the man himself. My dad gave that to me a couple years ago, and there's another piece, but it's blocked by the chair. It's just a old Goodyear Eagle tire. So.
Well, you know who he's a fan of, right?
I said it's
truly great to be a Tennessee Vol. That is great. No, he's a Tennessee fan. He's great. Sterling Marlin, old Santa Fe, Tennessee's own, baby. Mark, we love you. Congrats on your top 5. Anybody you want to talk to?
Yeah, I just want to thank Miracle Flow for coming on board this season for really fast Ford Mustang we had tonight. Everyone over at the What About guys, we all did an amazing job tonight. Little close contact there in the last few laps with a couple of the guys, but it's just hard racing coming to the end. I'm not sorry about it because I'm trying to fight for the best finish I am, and they are doing the same. And it is, that's racing. That's hard racing. But I want to thank those guys. We work really hard, and of course my friends and family that tune in. So thank you to those.
We love you, Bubbles, the wall sponge.
I love you.
You're welcome.
He does love us indeed. But we got third place Thomas Sink here while we still wait for our Precision Racing Esports buddies. Thomas Sink, though, P3. Again, I'm not so far up on my stats this season, but this has got to be your first top 3 of the season, right?
Yeah, I think this is by far my best finish this season.
So what was the deal? It looked like a whole new Thomas Sink out there. You had great long run speed. You were making passes all the way around. You got Sean Campbell at the line. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I got the pass Sean Campbell. That's pretty big feat for me. Yeah, I went into today 0 confidence. Went out practice, wrecked every time I went in the 3. Had no speed. I was like, well, this is probably going to be a drop week, and I decided just to follow Abner. And we were going around in practice, and I saw they were lifting out almost at the backstretch. And so I kind of sat there and thought, well, Kevin Harvick's really good at this racetrack, and he usually lifts the start-finish line when he goes in. So maybe I just got to back up my corner, and it just clicked. I didn't have fire-off speed worth anything. But right there at that first run towards the end, I was not trying to give Brad too much of a hard time, but if I would have pushed the envelope, I think I would have got by Brad in that first run.
So which are you going to watch some Kevin Harvick videos for Rockingham next week as well?
No, I don't think he was very good at Rockingham. I think he struggled there. He started in 2001 there, and I think he finished in the 20s or something like that. He wasn't very good at Rockingham, but I could hope maybe watch Abner again and see what he does and just try to mimic him every week.
Well, we'll wish you good luck. Hopefully Kevin Harvick can turn things around at Rockingham. Maybe if he doesn't retire and comes back in the coming seasons, if we bring Rockingham back, I don't know what I'm talking about. Good luck next week.
Hey, thanks very much.
Thomas Sink, P3 tonight. And our race winner has finally decided to join us here. Elliot White, welcome to the booth, and welcome to your second win of the season, I believe, and probably the most difficult one yet.
Oh yeah, by far. First, I want to apologize for almost forgetting about this for the second week in a row. But yeah, that was something I really don't enjoy. Small, sprints to the end. It's not really my thing. I mean, I think I almost got somewhat lucky that it was Abner behind me. As great as Abner is, he's kind of like me in that we both preferred to run a whole stint out and see how it turns out.
So next week at Rockingham, Thomas Sink may or may not be watching Kevin Harvick videos to study. What are you going to do for Rockingham next week? That's going to be a pretty big challenge in these Xfinity cars.
Yeah, that's another track I've never driven. So we'll see. I imagine it'll be fun. It looks really bumpy, so I do enjoy that. Hoping they get the set somewhat fun. I think it can kind of depend on what the fixed set is like, but it'll be tough because I don't feel like I'm that great at short track racing, and I feel like Rockingham somewhat races like a short track with it being harder to pass. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be fun.
And for now, congrats on another win, Mr. Elliott White, or should I call you Elliott Pink? And we'll see you next week. Or actually, we'll see you on Tuesday first.
Oh, yes, Tuesday. But thank you guys. Appreciate the broadcast.
Always a pleasure. Elliott White victorious. His teammate Abner Acosta, he's going to round us out. He gets to talk to Terry.
What's up, Double A?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Well, I hope you go back and watch all the broadcasts live on, RaceSpotTV. But just like there's a portion of this race that I may have said something you might not enjoy. If you skip past, like, I don't know, the last caution before the green, if you just jump forward.
Last caution before the green. Got it.
Just 60 seconds. And we'll never have to talk about it, but your teammate validated what I just said. You don't like short runs, right? That's not your thing. You're not the guy that's going to go out here and burn the tires up in 5 laps to go win the race.
If you take like the average age of the iRacers, I'm probably on the higher end. So I'm an old guy. I might not sound like I am, but I am. I just like taking things easy. So yeah, I definitely need to get practice more the short runs and just sending it. I'm definitely weaker on that side. It's something that I know. But still, I mean, Elliott was even on the long run on that first end, he was catching me. He was super quick. But yeah, I definitely got to work on my short run. I had a good shot, but not quite enough.
Let's talk about Rockingham next week. Kind of a different style of what we normally see here in the Xfinity series. And this is kind of cool because in the off season for the NASCAR side of things, we're getting to go to tracks that necessarily aren't on the schedule that you're not going to see when you turn on Fox or NBC's broadcast of the season. Last one that we'll do is Rockingham. Is there something you could have learned throughout the season, maybe last season, maybe over your time in the Xfinity car that you can apply down there where, the outside lane isn't the preferred groove, the bottom is, and you might have to uproot somebody to potentially get it?
Yeah, I think I'll do fine. This car, it's new to me. So I've definitely done Rockingham in the next gen, and I like the track. I like short tracks, but I don't know how that's gonna feel with this car. So we'll see. I know that I'll be strong. Just gotta. It's almost the end of the season. Just gotta stay consistent. That's really important to finish these races. Just not to crash out because for a lot of people, one more wreck and you're done. You know what I mean? Like I just want to make sure that at the last race. I have a chance to win. That's the goal right now. But yeah, Rockingham, I know I'll be pretty strong. Just gotta stay clean.
All in the shot, Abner, Double A, Mr. Tire Wizard, Mr. Goat, number 2 in the stats, number 1 in our hearts. We love you. Congrats on P2. Joey, I'm gonna give it to you.
That's gonna round out our coverage for tonight here. It has been an interesting night of two very different winners. But next week, we start syncing up the tracks, the same tracks for the last 3 weeks for the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, Rockingham, Daytona, and Auto Club Speedway. It's going to be a very interesting way to end this season. I'm looking forward to all 3 of those races, and we'll see who will win the Xfinity Series championship. Will it be Elliott White? Will it be Sean Campbell? Will it be Abner Acosta? Or could there be a heroic run from somebody else? And will Reese Bogue be able to hang on to the Truck Series championship? We'll have to learn next week at Rockingham. But this is not the only night of PRL action here on RaceSpotTV. You've got GR86s and GT4s on Mondays. You got the GT3 doubleheader on Tuesdays. You've got this NASCAR doubleheader on Wednesdays. You've got the PRL IR04 and F3 series on Thursdays. And of course, the NASCAR Cup Series on Sundays. But we hope you'll join us for any and all of them. I've been Joey Tebbin. Terry Radford's been Terry Radford. Our producer has been Hugo Luis. Until we see you next time, so long.